Prophet Marcello Currents. So this video is gonna be about things have changed forever. We're gonna talk about time and change. Things have changed. And what I want to use for a particular community is the artist Lady Gaga. When Lady Gaga first came out, it was a certain era, a certain feel in the air. To me, she probably was the last superstar from in America that was really, I could say, really superstar. Like with the whole image of being able to sing, dance, produce, the whole thing. Originality, all that. She was the last one like that before the world started to end. Now you don't have nobody like on those original personas, you know what I'm saying? Like them original styles. You don't got that going on no more. So you got to take inventory of time. That's something a lot of people can't do. They can't take inventory of time. Nothing is going to ever stay the same. So this is just what's on my heart now. This is what compelled me to do a video. I'm never compelled to do a video to get on people, to challenge people, to hurt people. I do videos to reveal truth. Whatever it is, to reveal the truth. And what was just on my heart is that times have changed. When you look at Lady Gaga career, it's a perfect compass of how the times have changed. I'm gonna give you a personal story about this person. When she first came out, I was working at the hospital, right? Making all kind of money. And I could just go to the store and just buy music. I could just buy stuff. I just go to Walmart and just buy stuff, right? And so one day I just went to the Walmart and bought Lady Gaga. I thought it was an interesting looking album. Mind you, this is before she was popular. This was around like 2008 when she came out. So the first album I looked at and I thought it looked really strange, really different. Like, I'll take a chance on this as a musician. Just looking at it, I wanted to take a chance on it. So I bought it, and it was funny though, because I guess looking at the album, I thought it was going to be a very different. I didn't know what the music was going to be. I had no earthly idea. This is before anybody knew who she was. I can show you a lot of times I took chances in artists before anyone knew who she was. So I bought Lady Gaga. This is my story. Before the gay community knew who she was, before anybody knew who she was. The only way the gay community could have known, maybe if they was here in New York and she was doing little rounds and stuff in that kind of way. But as far as the nationwide community, nobody knew who she was. Okay, so I was listening to Lady Gaga before most Americans and most people. And the first time I put on the album, this is when I was living carnal, I was making money. I was just living to myself. So, and I didn't even know that this was what this music was going to be. But I put on a red light, in my room and smoked a blunt, listening to Lady Gaga for the first time. Can you imagine listening to Lady Gaga for the first time? High? You can't undo that. Either you did or you didn't. I listened to Lady Gaga high for the first time. I smoked the whole blunt. I had a red light in the room. And like I said, I was working at the hospital, so I was making good money. But I knew this vibe was gonna be different. I just wanted to see what it was gonna be, right? So I got me a blunt, rolled me a blunt by myself. I was that kind of stoner back then. I smoked weed by myself. And I was just working, making good money, chilling. So I got the album. I'm sitting there with the red light on, smoking weed, listening to Lady Gaga for the first time. And I'm like blown away, man. Like, I'm like, wow. This is pretty cool, man. This is like, I'm glad I kind of took, a chance. I listened to the whole album. I was like, just listening to it. I was like, man, that's pretty nice, man. But I can remember that must have been some good weed because it kind of just blurred away into just. But I just listened to all of it. I definitely did that. But I knew this person was gonna be great. I knew this person was gonna be a great person. I didn't care what other people thought. I was letting other people listen to it. I was like, listen to this, man. Listen to this music. And some people might have thought, okay, I kind of got an idea what that's like. But that was before we seen all the videos. So we didn't know. I didn't know she would even do all these costumes and all that stuff before all of that. That was just a raw music. Just thinking about this person, this female singing behind this music and everything. That's the only vibe it was. It wasn't the vibe of the videos because the videos wasn't out. It was only the vibe of the music. So I was going around sharing people this music. Like, man, this is hot, bro. This is hot. Like, so I was that type of dude. I was listening to Lady Gaga, like, sharing that with other people. Like, listen to this, man. It's pretty hot, man. Like, listening to it from, like, a hip-hop kind of mindset or R&B hip-hop kind of, like, you know what I mean? Not like that. So, yeah, this is kind of cool. And that defined, my point is, that time defined an era that is now gone. That music during that was to me, 2008 and 2009 was like this era, this last era, and we didn't know it. We didn't know it. That time, for me, because I was working at the hospital, that era started for me about 2007. About 2007, because I was making good money, working at the hospital. Little did I know that was the last era, man. And it's not just COVID. It's everything. It's the music. It's the vibe in the air. 2007 to 2020. I say 13 years. It lasted for me. For me, this last era lasted for 13 years, but not even consistently because of some things I was going through. But I would say at best 13 years was the last era overall for everybody. And it was the last, because remind you, 2007 was still within the first decade of the millennium. Even Gaga came out at the last end of the millennium. First decade. The last of the first decade, right? So it was still almost just coming out of the 1990s. I'm trying to show you where we was at. Because we was not even 10 years into the first decade of the 21st century. So all we relied on was 90 vibes, kind of 90s everything. Which was made it so cool, the first decade of the 2000s. Because we still was drawing from the 90s. That's why it was still cool. Everything got strange after 2010. It was still good. 2010 was still a good year. 2011 was a good year, and 2012. Actually, I would say things got strange after 2014. About 2014, that's when things got strange. So how long ago is that? 2014, the past 10 years. Look at that. Ooh, time flies by. Don't you hate to admit it? Dang, that's 10 years, like, just like that. 2014. Ooh, the past 10 years. It's been strange, ain't it? The 2000, I would say 2014 and beyond became weird, for a lot of reasons. But if you notice, the energy changed. 2016 for sure is when the psychological war started, for me, around 2016. Which, once again, that's 10 years. So the past 10 years for sure, solid. It has been strange. That's far as music, that's far as superstars, everything. I mean, you could look at everything. How people been dying, that was musicians and everything. What I'm showing you at this point is the whole world, not just my world. All worlds combined became strange. All walks of life, in other words, became strange because we drank all from the same fountain. And the fountain became strange to everybody. And I would say around 2016 is when everything became psychological. This weird energy that your intuition is now picking up on. In 2016, strange stuff. Mind you, in 2016, COVID is like 4 years away. But back to Gaga time. That time was so free. That was the last free time. That's why I'm using her music, because she was, to me, she was the last superstar. She was the last superstar with longevity and the full package. You know, everything. The songwriting, the music, the videos, just the artistry, everything. Being able to break out of certain genres and still be relevant, and to progress musically. She probably was the last superstar that crossed all boundaries of age and everything. You know, as far as fan base, and sexuality. You know, she got the gay community kind of like, I would say, about 4 or 5 years into her career. But she probably had them the whole time, but I would say it was evident more than ever that they was following behind her career. I would say after the first, I would say about the 3 to 5 years after she came out, about that, which would be what, about 2011. That's about right. That's about right when the gay community probably was on her in the club playing that music and everything. So the moments were being made and the memories were being made, and so I would think about around that time. What I'm trying to show you is like the last era before everything changed. And you would have to know around that time, about 2008, 2009. You know, that was about that time. Everything changed. That was the last era. That was the last era of fun, freedom in spirit, freedom and energy. I'm just, for people that was maybe confused at that time, because when you old, you could be confused at that time. You might have didn't pay attention to that time, and then if you're young, you ain't gonna see it. So me, I was like, what? I was 27, and when Lady Gaga came out, yeah, I was 27. So that shows you how young I am. I kind of told myself, right? So I was like the perfect age at that time when Lady Gaga came out. I was like 27, going into 28, and so obviously my eyes were totally awake and aware. I guess because of my age, and it was the last free time, man. Just the energy in the air, that last good energy, man. I can really capture how it felt. I guess because I was working and I was really out in the world. That too. I wasn't nearly as reclusive as I am now. You know, I was more out in the world working every day. So I really remember the vibe of that time. And that was a time also where I was making the best money in my life. I was working good. I was in the groove of working. I think that's why I remember that time so good too, because I was making money. I was working and making my own money, and I didn't really want for nothing at that time in my life. See, when you get my age, you can talk about times where you was doing good, and now nobody can see a sign of that. But that's how it is when you get older. You can tell, you can show people. When I was 27, I was listening to Lady Gaga, and you know, it was a different time. Like I said, it was just everything was free. Even the internet and being online was just different too. Oh, during 2008 and 7, man, from I would say up until 2012, you could meet people online and actually hook up with good, decent people. I remember when you could go on Facebook and meet people, and you could actually meet them in person. And I remember the first time I heard somebody talk about this. I remember the first time I heard someone actually talk about this. This person was on the city bus, and they was talking about, yeah, man, you know, I met this girl, I met these people online, and I couldn't help but overhear this conversation. And I was in my hometown, and this dude was like, yeah, you know, I could, you know, I met this girl online. I met this girl on Facebook. I'm like, really? You actually met somebody on Facebook? I knew about Facebook, but I didn't never take seriously that you could actually meet people. You could actually hook up with people. So for me, this probably had to be around back to about 2007 and 2008. Yeah, it had to be. Maybe 2009, something like that. And I actually have met people on Facebook and went and moved in with a person from Facebook. People will never know, you know, how it used to be. Facebook, you could actually meet people, decent people, meet them and hook up and live with them and meet them. That's how it used to be. I moved in with somebody from Daytona, Florida, and I was in North Carolina. We hooked up on Facebook. This was like 2012, right? When the internet was still innocent, you know, like how you could approach people. And so I met this person on Facebook and just sparked up a conversation, natural conversations. You remember natural conversations on Facebook? Just real conversations. You remember all the real conversations you had with women, and it was real. Whether it was about sex, whatever it was about, you had these real conversations on Facebook with these females. And they would talk back, and they would talk about whatever you wanted to talk about. But then the culture began to change them about what they choose to talk about. But back in the day, they would just talk like old school, you know what I'm saying? We talk about everything like we talking on the phone. Like a cord phone. You rap about everything. And I met somebody and moved in from Facebook, man. See, that show, and nothing happened. When I wanted to leave, I left. No hard feelings. I talked to that person one more time, maybe a year later or something like that. Maybe some months later. I think I remember the person saying something about rededicating their life to God. I think I remember the person saying that. But that's how innocent the world was back in 2012. Another time that the world changed was 2012. And that's how it changed on the internet. The internet changed after 2000, I would say around 2016. That's when that marked the change. The last 10 years, it's been about, you got trolls, you got people, you got fake pages. See, back then you didn't even have fake pages. In 2012 and lower than that, 2009, 2010, there was no fake pages on the internet. There was no such thing. The concept wasn't there. I think around trolls, there was not even any trolls. People just talk naturally from the heart. If they didn't like you, they didn't like you. And you have these big disputes on these threads. And you really took time to let somebody know how you felt. I remember those times. Like when somebody responded to your message, you're like, oh, hold up, man. Like, you took it more seriously. You took time to type everything you wanted to say. Now, I choose sometimes not to even say nothing. I let people think about it. If I know I'm right on a thread, and you respond and you say whatever you want to say, you know what I usually do these days? I just let you think about it. I ain't gonna respond. I'm gonna let you think about it. I'm gonna let you think about what I said and what you're saying. And if you're smart, you're gonna get it. But back in the day, back in 2012 at least, definitely, if anybody wanted any smoke, man, I sat there for hours going, everybody did that until you won on a thread. You went back and forth with a person. Yeah, but now it's so many trolls, man. You can't take people seriously, because even if you're right, it's not worth it. They don't care about who's right. Maybe they want some attention or something. Maybe they just trolling you, which means they don't even care, basically, about what's going on. And they just want a response. So sometimes I don't even give people a response anymore. But like I said, before 2016, it was just such an innocent time on the internet, where you could talk to people, meet people, and it was genuine, because it was more off the vibe of the 90s. We were still off the haze of the 90s. I could say the 90s left the energy of the world around 2012. You see how I'm hitting these different pockets on different issues and dynamics? About 2012 is when the energy changed from the 90s, which means we didn't look to those worldviews or to those energies of that time anymore. We now look towards the time that we had enough information from the time past the 90s to kind of cultivate a new energy, especially with the internet. That's really what we drew from. So once we had like 10 years of the internet solid, that had been about 2012. That's when everybody really officially got online, after about 2002. So that's safe to say about a good 10 years. That's when we got on the millennium vibe, about 2012. And we started looking towards the deeper beyond of the future going into 2012, because we didn't know. They say the Mayan calendar stopped in 2012, right? So the Mayan calendar stopped in 2012, and that's when everybody started questioning the future and shit and stuff like that. That's when it started happening. That's when everybody started looking to these future ways of thinking and what's going to be now. We put the 90s behind after about 2012. The 90s vibe was officially done in 2012 for sure. It took us 10 years, which is about right. That first decade, after that first decade of the 21st century, we was beyond the 90s vibe. See, so we was still hanging on to it about in 2008, 2009, 2007. We was still on the 90s vibe, man. Yeah, and it was kind of hard to keep up. And well, think about that, because there were so many things coming out and so many things to focus on, but we were still in the 90s vibe. We were still in the 90s vibe. And it was beautiful. It was that last time of emptiness. That's how I describe the atmosphere, this emptiness vibe. Where like the world was natural, innocent, organic. Where you could go outside and breathe in and breathe out, and it's a free feeling in the air. People are still approachable. People still take chances on love. People will still give you a chance. People was less apprehensive, open to venture out. That vibe was still in the air. Everything was so innocent. I remember ringtones. Man, I'm not saying that you was a loser if you didn't have one, but man, who didn't have ringtones? Who didn't buy ringtones and buy them for your phone? But we just stopped using them. Somewhere along the way, it got corny. That's what happened. It got corny somewhere along the way. That's how we esteemed it. Because by now, it could be way more complex. It could still be out there. You can't buy ringtones now. Who's gonna buy ringtones? Who gonna buy ringtones? But back in 2007, 8, people was buying ringtones. I remember I had the Michael Jackson ringtone. Thriller. I got it after Michael Jackson died. After Michael died, I bought the ringtone, the Michael Jackson ringtone. Thriller, I had the Thriller on there. Thriller. Every time my phone ring, Thriller night, you're fighting for your life. So it was the hook, right? And that's when I was working, making good money, working at the hospital. That was the last time. That was the last good time in the world, man. That was the last good time. Even back to working, man. After that time, I don't know if you noticed this trend that still goes on to this day, but after about 2010 and going in and beyond, it became a time where people was getting killed, shot and killed on their jobs. That's how you know things changed. And I would say that upticked around after 2010, going beyond that time. But before that, you didn't hear in 2008, 2009, 2007, 2005, people killing people on their jobs. You ain't hear nothing like that. After 2010, I would say that's when that started to happen. People started to kill people on their jobs, shoot people, come on the job site and shoot people. That's another thing that changed. See, these are the subcultures or the walks of life that the politicians can't address. They won't address this kind of stuff. You know, we have to think about it and address it ourselves. This is why leaders, what I call national leaders, are important, because they address issues that politicians can't address. Like the changes in the work site, on the job site. How you got these crazy managers now, and you got all these people with trying to have sex with people on their jobs. Man, I remember this one manager, that worked at the hospital, she got caught having sex at the job, man. On the job site at the hospital. This manager liked me. She had a crush on me, but at that time, I was so young. And I really hadn't had a woman that young, that old. I'm not trying to be offensive. Not at that time. Nah, not really. I got into it later. Because in my late, when you're late 20s, that's when you're going to start getting the older women. But at that point, I wasn't really... People was telling me that she liked me and all of that. And it was real. She was the type of woman that would have sex on the job. She actually had sex on the job. I mean, that times had begun to change around, like I said, about 2010. But about that time, because I think that's when she did that. Because I left the job in 2009, late 2009. That's when I left the hospital, so that makes perfect sense. Just like I said, about 2010, that's when the job site started to change. People started to be more real on the job, more who they were outside the job, on the job. And I think that's how all these clashes in personality started to happen. All these clashes started to happen where they started killing each other and all of that. See, when you go through the different changes and you go back in time and you can examine it, you can see how much times have changed. You can see how much time have changed. It's just not the same. It's not the same. These are the changes. Job sites wasn't the same. I remember, like, in 2012, I remember I got the job around in 2011, right? And this boss was a racist man. And I basically got fired by him in the end, in the next year, the following year, in March 2012, like 14 years ago. I worked for a racist man. When I got hired from one of my old bosses because I worked for him on the other side of town in my city. So when I seen him on my side of town where I was currently living with my girlfriend looking for work, he hired me, right? Because now he's on my girlfriend's side of town and I'm living with her in her apartment. I always had girlfriends with apartments, you know. But I couldn't work directly with him. I was working with some white racist manager. And the guy that hired me was African. He was a cool African manager. And so I go on the job and sure enough, basically they just used me for the holidays. That he did. He just used me because I got hired on Halloween, which y'all call Halloween. I worked through Halloween, getting all these costumes out, getting all this stuff. I worked through Thanksgiving and Christmas in January and February. After that, he was done with me. March, April, May, June, he didn't have any holidays until almost to July. And so I just basically got utilized through the holidays, basically. Through the Christmas holidays and all of that. That's all that was. And it was like being in high school all over again. This person playing in my face, playing games until to the point where I was drinking and coming to work tipsy. I remember the day I got fired, I was tipsy. I came in tipsy. You know, and I got fired. And I didn't care. Because I was tipsy. I came in tipsy. I remember that day. You know, I think that's the last time I took working seriously. Well, I still had jobs after that. But once you get treated a certain way in certain jobs, it don't traumatize you, but I think you stop taking, if you get mistreated real bad on the job and you're a certain decent age, you gonna stop taking working seriously. You're gonna stop taking working for individuals seriously. For me, that was 2012 in March. I gave my all to a job. I had already proven myself because that was my second time working with that company. I usually could go back to all my jobs. That's how good of a worker I was. But how I was mishandled on that job in front of other people, especially particularly other women. Other women seeing all this junk this man was talking, man. And then he was a racist would make it make sense. But I think he was one of those racists that would have sex with other women from different races. He just didn't like the men. But he was dirty enough to have sex with women from different races because he was still interacting with the women, right? And so he'll be talking to them, downing me, disrespecting me and everything, to the point where people quit. You know, it was so bad that once I quit and I seen one of the females I worked with, because she stayed in the hood, right? She picked me up one day. I remember I had a 40 ounce, so she picked me up. So I'm walking down the street with a 40, and she picked me up like, get in. Like that, like that kind of girl, get in. Something like that. So I had like my CD with me. I had my radio with me. I let her listen to some music. Actually when I picked her up, when she picked me up, she went and got this rap album that she heard me have. She liked it so much, she went and got it and everything. And yeah, she was kind of cool. Actually, she was from Brooklyn too. Yeah, she was in my city. She was in Charlotte. She was from Brooklyn. I went to her house, met her mom, everything. She was cool. But she worked at the job longer than me. and she seen how bad this dude talked about me and stuff. So she was like, once I left the job and I just was kind of wandering around on the streets, drinking and hanging out, back to living my gigolo life, just living with my woman and everything like that. She was like, yeah, I got him. For how he treated you, I told you I was gonna get him. She got him fired. She hated how he treated me so bad. Other people noticed it. It wasn't my own imagination. It wasn't because it wasn't me making an excuse. I did my job. But this dude just had something against me. And now that I realize who I am, it was because I'm a prophet. That's what it was. He just had something against me. And after I left that job, that marked the time that I started taking jobs seriously. I stopped taking jobs seriously after that because of how I was treated by a racist person. That's what, see, a lot of black people don't open up and talk about it. But if you from the South like I am, that's why, like, we have a different experience as black people down in the South than people up here in New York. My experience with a racist person working for one is like a nightmare. It's one thing to have a racist co-worker. It's another thing to have a racist manager. That's worse. So I had a racist manager, and it was just hell. But being that I was still fairly young, it didn't matter. He couldn't. I was too strong to care. That is young man's strength. He couldn't weather my strength. I was too young to care about what he was doing. It didn't bother me. But it was still a troublesome situation and things that he did and said and everything like that. He was like one of those, almost like those MAGA supporters. He was like that kind of vibe, like, cause some of them are not racist, but they just have these stereotypes of black people and different people in their head, and they can't get past the stereotypes that they created in their own head. So he was kind of like one of them people. He was sure that he knew who black people was. Until he met me. He met me, I defied everything he knew. Because what most people will find is I don't have any ignorance in me. I'm not an ignorant person. And that's what puzzles some white people. They wait for the ignorance. They can't find it. I'm cool. I do illegal things. I've done illegal things in my life. And like, for example, with that same job, I used to have to go house to house getting furniture. I used to move furniture with this dude. So me and him early in the morning used to go out to get furniture, right? So we would smoke weed early in the morning on our way going, like, in the truck on our way to go get furniture from other people. So we be high all day. But I'm just not how I put it. I'm not a jerk with it. I'm not a jerk with whatever I do. You ain't gonna find me being ignorant in the situation. You ain't gonna find me being an ignorant person. You know what I'm saying? And so I can be high on the job, but I'm not ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna utilize that to get through the day. And when back in the day, that's how I used to be. So he'll bring some weed. I think sometimes I did, but we never got caught. I mean, real ones ain't gonna get caught doing something that's like that at our age. We too old to get caught smoking weed. You know what I mean? So, a matter of fact, during the time in the era of the hospital, where I used to work at the hospital, I smoked weed back then, and I didn't get caught ever. Not one time smoking weed. I used to work third shift, and me and this one guy, it was a 4-man job, but it was only 2 guys. They were supposed to give us a raise, but they felt like being that it was the night third shift, they ain't have to pay us because it was kind of slow. But that's not true in the hospital. You got surges of people that come in at nighttime. That's where it's tricky at. But me and him we were so young, we didn't demand a raise. If we were older, we would have demanded a raise. Because we was the only shift. That didn't have 4 men working our job. It was only 2 of us. So both of us was working for another person, like a 2-man job. But anyway, we did our job well. I got an award. An award for performance of excellence. Because I just worked so hard. I just worked like a workhorse, an unstoppable workhorse. They gave me an award, an award certificate for performance of excellence. That's how good I was working. And as long as you respect me, I go to the ends of the earth for my managers. Long as they respect me. If they don't respect me, I'ma quit. Eventually. It can't work. It can't work with grown men and women that don't respect you. It's dreadful. But it's fun when you get respect. It's a fun job environment. Now you can crack jokes, but it's gonna always be uptight if it ain't no respect. You know, it ain't even gonna be no jokes, no fun, and you gotta constantly interact with that person. It's just dreadful. It's the best term to use. Dreadful experience. So, but yeah, that job at the hospital was so good. We used to go in the neighborhoods because it was in the white neighborhood. Me and this dude would go smoke a blunt in these neighborhoods late at night because we work in third shift. Come back, blunt it, do our job, and sometimes we hung out outside the job. Yeah. We went over this girl's house, and this is how I know we both was young. She told me if she had sex with somebody at the job, this is how people used to talk. This was like 2009. She was like, if she had sex with somebody on the job, it would be me and this other dude. So I'm like, whoa, okay. So I went back and told him. I was like, yeah, man. She said if she had sex with anybody on the job, it'd be me and you. Like, she making me think she wanted a threesome. So based on that, don't you know, me and him showed up at her house. Not unannounced, but we both went over there. But I think we since we all smoked weed and we all drank, it became getting high and drinking. That's what happened. We got high and that was it. That threw everything off. But we actually showed up at her house from she worked with us too. I think she was from New York too. She liked me and she liked the guy I worked with. She liked both of us, so we both showed up. Really, I'm a gentleman. Either way it goes, I'm not gonna do anything that you don't want to do. I'm just not. I'm not gonna do anything you don't want to do. I'd rather have a reputation of letting things go by instead of being demonized, where some woman said you did something to her without her consent, or you did something she didn't want to do. A woman gonna live with that for the rest of her life. Not even if it traumatized her, if it's just a bad experience. She gonna talk about that bad experience with everybody. With other lovers. She gonna talk about you in a bad sense with other lovers. Even if you just forced her into like doing something that she really kind of didn't want to do, she gonna talk about that for the rest of her life. So my track record is sometimes I let stuff go by me because I'm a gentleman. I'm gonna let you do whatever you want to do. I'm gonna let you do. I rather have that history. See, a gentleman gonna have a history of like, well, yeah, I let some women I could have definitely had sex with, but I didn't, because I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna make if you give me the green light now. If you give me the green light, that's it. I'm gonna work that green light, because I already know that I know what you want to do. But if you don't give me that green light for whatever reason, and you don't make it clear, and you don't give me that green light, I'm gonna sit back and wait. That's what I'm gonna do. That's the best way to be. That's the best way to be. And it served me well. I ain't got nobody out there talking about I did something to them that they ain't want to do, and calling my house or something, calling the police on me or nothing. Nah, I'm a gentleman. I'm gonna do what you want to do. See, I got this probably from being married. I got married when I was 22 years old. So I was a husband at 22. So that's how I learned to be kind of real gentle with women and everything like that. For the most part, you know, because once you got married at a young age, you conform to knowing how to treat women. You conform to understanding women. It's not as easy as you think to be married at 22 years old. Even back then, oh boy, it was just really such an innocent time, bro. It was a different time in family units. I mean, I lived with my father-in-law before I was married. He let me move in to his house. Probably these days, a father-in-law is not letting you move in with his daughter. It's just times have changed. That was 2004, 2004, like 22 years ago. Yeah, I moved in. I could submit to a man, my father-in-law, my wife's father. I had no problem with that. See, times were different then. That was the last innocent time, bro. See, this is why humanity has to preserve good. Evil people, one thing they don't know is that you really don't want an evil world. You don't want an evil world. You want to be evil, but you don't want an evil world. That's not what you want. Because basically, if it's an evil world, the first way you're going to know is wars and laws and all that stuff. Oh yeah, buddy. When you get an evil world, that part, now you're talking about evil laws, evil discrimination. No matter if you eat black, listen, and you work witchcraft, you're going to be brutalized with evil laws. How about that? How about that, buddy? You're going to be brutalized with evil laws, buddy. Oh, you didn't realize evil can go into the laws. That's how we know you're a culture person. Because you don't realize how far evil can go, do you? You know how bad evil can become? It can get into the laws. It can get into the authorities, and then it ain't fun no more. Then evil is no fun no more. Oh, you think that's cool? You think evil is cool when it brutalizes you? Boy, you got a sixth sense of fun. You got a sixth sense of fun, buddy. You got a warped sense of fun. Because I don't know nobody, no matter how evil they are, want to be brutalized by their government and by laws and by an iron rod. An iron rod that just brutalize you with evil. You don't know how bad evil can become. But now you're starting to see, aren't you? See, this is why lame, evil people that want to be evil, listen, this is where they lose understanding. Okay? If you want to be evil, I suggest that you do it on your own time, right? You see what I'm talking about, right? Because it comes into our systems, our community, the haze of our community, the atmosphere of our community is now filled with evil. That's how it works. It outbreaks, evil outbreaks. And like any outbreak, it goes a little further than you want it to go. Like COVID. COVID, you can look at COVID like evil. You seen it coming a little bit. You seen it, on the horizon. And then before you knew it, it was out of control. That's exactly how evil works. Okay, you can have a little fun. See, that's how it always works with every civilization. If this was a movie, in the beginning, it was fun. Gang stalking, doing all this crazy stuff. But then, everything became affected by evil. The evil outbreak began. And guess what? Evil was showing up in places that no human being in their right mind would want it to happen. It started showing up in Ferguson, in St. Louis. That's another time where it changed. The world changed. When that dude, Anthony Brown, if I think that's his name, the dude that was killed, but they found out that he was wrong because I don't know what made him try to go after a cop. Because he was a big bully. Let's call it how it is. He was a big bully guy. Because he bullied somebody for some cigarillos. He stole some cigarillos, just snatched them out the store and walked out. They showed the footage that he did that, right? So that's when the world changed again. That was back in 2014. See, it was around those times. These certain times, things changed in different dynamics. For police, after Ferguson, I remember watching Ferguson on the news and watching the footage where they was just running around, the people was running around in Ferguson, and it was like a revolution. Now it's 12 years later after Ferguson. And I don't know how people got back with the police, but I'm thinking I'm more like a Ferguson-minded person at this point about the police and martial law, curfews, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff that was going on during Ferguson, that kind of just locked into my head. See, I was fairly young when all this stuff happened. When Ferguson happened, I was 33. I was 33 years old when Ferguson happened, right? Okay, so that's when Ferguson happened. And so that's when times changed. That's when everything changed. And the relations between the police and the community, it hasn't been the same ever since. it's not gonna be the same. And I think, I mean, with all these, I think the programming on TV in a funny way, I think that changed people to start thinking about the police in this kind of healthy way, and that that the police is cool, and whatever else, and all this stuff. I don't know how people start embracing them again after Ferguson. I just can't tell you. Besides the culture stuff on the news, on the TV, and everything like that. That's how it changed. But nevertheless, my mindset is still how they related to the community during Ferguson and after Ferguson, because there was other killings too. George Floyd, the dude Dante from Minneapolis. There was other illegal killings, and they just kept happening. After Ferguson, they kept happening. All these illegal killings by the police. It kept happening, if you notice. And just now kind of, I would say in the past, 6 years or so, it kind of slowed down. About that. Since 2020. But 2019, 18, 17, there was all these illegal killings. But the last one was Sonia Massey. Sonia Massey was the last one. That was 2014, 2024. I think so, yeah. Or it was 2023. I think that was 2024. Yeah, that was 2024. I think so, yeah. So that's just now coming on 2 years, not even 2 years ago. It just never stopped. It never stopped. So that's another way the world changed with how Americans interact with the police. And I think some people, that kind of thing don't affect them at all. Where all these people get killed by the police and all this stuff happen. Let's talk about the killers we know for sure that are illegal. They're illegal in nature for sure, right? And they could have not done these things. They could have went about it a certain different way. But then for whatever reason, they decided to do things their way, right? These trends happen. After Ferguson. And you could either choose to go back you could choose to stick with that way of thinking, or you can go and choose to conform to some other stuff, how you feel about the cops today. I don't know how that is, but where my mentality kind of grows from Ferguson, as far as how I feel like, how I size up the police these days. Even though he was innocent, it's just how it was done. It's just how it happened. And then officially George Floyd, whether he was innocent or not, he didn't have to be killed like that. And then the dude Dante, that was another dude that was killed illegally. And so that's basically, and then Sonia Massey up to date, that's the last person that was killed just obviously in an unnecessary way. Cause with her, with the pot of hot water, I mean, come on, man, you supposed to be. This is why we know the cops is not the military. I mean, hot water. What is that going to do to you? Scar you a little bit? Everybody got tattoos these days anyway. You realize that? I mean, at best, you're going to just get scarred a little bit. You should have pulled out a taser. What happened to tasers? So if this woman was, you feel a threat to you, did they have a taser? A billy club, you could have hit the woman hit the woman with the billy club. Cops are scary. Cops are just, and then you don't know if it's scary or if they're so good at what they do, they know how to kill people and get away with it. You don't know if it's that. Because I'm a firm believer that all those cops don't have good mental health. No. We just assume that they do, but they could get traumatized on the job. They could get PTSD from the job. They could get mental diagnoses from the job while working. PTSD, that's the main one. Different types of trauma diagnoses, where you know you're just triggered and and you're jumping the gun with how you handle people. So I personally don't trust the cops. I use them for what I use them for, and I act like I'm in the last days where I don't trust them. They got a long track record. I would say starting from George Floyd to the present time, where I do not trust no police, and that's how I choose to carry myself. Like George Floyd, like Dante from Minneapolis. I forget his last name, but So that's how I choose to think. And Sonia Massey being the last person. That's just how I choose to think. That's why I talk to him and I get away from him. Just like I called the cops out here like 2 days ago. And once I told him what I told him, this dude acted like he had an attitude, everything like that. I asked him why he had an attitude, why he being difficult. I let him know what I wanted him to know and walked away saying, you heard what I said. And he don't think I heard him. He talking about something like I'm psych. I'm psych. Listen, buddy, I just talk common sense to this person and he gonna form that opinion. You can't see me, bro. I'm not even from New York. So I don't move. This is how people so stupid. I don't even move or think like a New Yorker. So how you gonna size me up based on the New Yorker? That's what you're gonna compare it to. You're gonna reference to my thought patterns and my energy, and you're gonna compare it to your environment. You're not smart enough to size me up based on where I come from. If you heard I have an accent, you know I got an accent, right? So you can tell, even though I can talk fast and I can reason fast like a New Yorker, you can tell I ain't from New York, right? So then I'm gonna consider me being a nationwide person. I'm gonna figure that out in a matter of minutes that you're not from New York. So man, this is just like they shallow. They're not as smart as they project themselves to be. I don't trust them and I don't like them. I just use them like a service for whatever I need them for. But I don't like them, nor do I affiliate myself with them. And they should do their job regardless. If you got these secret society people that want to play with the community, that's your job to fix it, whether I like you or not. Because you are a community servant. You serve the community. You're a servant to the community. You are in service to the community, not to me. Okay? And that's how the world has changed with these cops. Like, I don't trust them. Nope, I do not. They're human beings. They could be sick mentally. I don't trust them. I'm always technical and professional with how I deal with them. what's going on, what's this. I don't get personal. I don't even become emotional. I'm all technical until the interaction with the police is over. That's how you're supposed to be. That's how most street people are anyway. We're gonna be technical until you're gone. Out of my presence. I'm gonna be technical with you. And whatever we talk about, I'm gonna be professional and technical. That's it. I ain't gonna be emotional, asking some roundabout other things and questions and everything and talking about other stuff. Nah. I'm gonna be paying attention, I'm gonna be attentive, keeping my eyes on you, and being technical and professional. That's it. That's how you carry yourself. They ain't gonna never get the respect that they had once had. So that changed. But like I said, things have changed so much, and it's just all gone. It's all gone. This is what evil people don't understand. You shouldn't come out here and do evil and not expect an evil society. That's how it's gonna work. It's not gonna work where you're gonna have this witchy Halloween-like world where you get to just run around like a witch. We doing witchcraft here. See, they think that their world is gonna be similar to Halloween. Like we can go run around and do witchcraft and all of this stuff. But what you fail to understand is that evil outbreaks. That's how it works. Because of all the bad karma. So the most retarded thing they could have done was doing evil all over the country. Now you see what I'm saying? All you did was cause karma to come all over the country, in essence. In a nutshell, that's all you did. Nothing more, nothing less. You caused evil to spawn all over the country. Because it has to come back. You can't do evil and nothing come back. I don't know a person out here with a brain that think you can do evil and it ain't gonna come back to you. It's spiritual reciprocity. Oh, I get it. These atheist type of people, it gotta be that. Because spiritual people know better. If you spiritual, you know about spiritual reciprocity. It has to come back. You can't do evil and it don't come back. Black people know that. What goes around comes around. And that's been serving, that have served humanity since the beginning of time, buddy. Ain't nobody above that principle. What goes around comes around. That's how it goes. That's how the world is made, because we can't rely on no police to make things, to dish out karma, proper karma to people. So how's it happen? God's made the universe with karma in mind. So when these authorities do not serve justice, guess what? Karma is going to serve justice. Because you can't rely on these people. You can't rely on no police. They just as crooked and dirty as this community. They're human beings. That's all you got. That's the only way that's how you figure it out. If they was robots, that'd be different. They're human beings. They're capable of evil. They're capable of doing evil. They're not perfect. By a long shot. Okay? Ain't nobody stupid about it. Okay? You came out here, you did a lot of evil, and now it's coming back in the most unlikely way. And that's how it works. That's how karma works. Karma ain't gonna come and do something to just you. Karma is gonna come and do stuff that you hate to teach you a lesson. Karma is going to teach you a lesson. And you ain't going to learn no lesson if something happened to you, because you already ready for it. You already ready to die. You already you don't care what happens to you. So karma's gonna work better than that. Guess what karma gonna do? While you're ready to die for what you've done, as far as these police and secret societies, right? In the gay community, the lesbian community, because they participated, it's no secret. While you're willing to die for what you've done, that's not the proper karma. The proper karma, after you have played with innocent good people, is that now in return, you see innocent good people in America suffer for nothing. You see how it works? It gives you exactly what you put out. So what did you exactly put out? You exactly put out playing with people that was innocent. Playing with good people, not just me, right? So that's the seed, right? So what's going to grow as a seed that you, after you sowed, what you're going to reap is innocent people like us will suffer right in your face while you're ready to die. When you didn't think when you think it could get no worse and you're ready to die, guess what's going to happen? You're going to sit and watch innocent people suffer and die. That's your karma. That's what you put out, didn't you? You put out playing with innocent people, right? Okay, so then you're going to see evil come on innocent people. That's only right. That's the proper karma. See, some people think karma is, if I do evil, evil gonna come back to me. If I do evil to this person over here, then I'm expecting evil to come back to me. That's not all of it. That's not the full equation. The full equation is, because you've done evil to this person, evil is going to happen to these innocent people in America. Because wasn't he innocent? Okay, so then karma is going to give you innocent people that suffers. You're not good at understanding the same likeness, right? The same likeness of seed, if you will, is you put out evil against an innocent person, right? Against innocent people, more than one. Okay, so the harvest from the seed is innocent people suffer over there. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That's your proper karma in this situation. Not even you. Bigger than you. It became bigger than you. See how bad it is to play with an innocent person? Because instantaneously it becomes bigger than you. Because now your karma is going to be not just you, innocent people. See how bad it is? See, that's perfect though. I give God the praise, because it wouldn't be enough for you that's a bum and loser to suffer. You already a bum. The best karma is for people that are innocent. People that's innocent, for them to suffer. It's the same thing. Why you say it's cruel, it's the same thing you did. It's the same thing. You play with innocent people, right? Okay then. So how is it cruel when it happens to you? It's the same thing you like to do. You're getting a taste of your own medicine. In other words, you're getting a taste of your own medicine. How you like that medicine? You're getting a taste of your own medicine. Innocent people suffering in America is your karma. Not just you, sucker. And there you go, little punk. This is how it works in the real world. Innocent people suffer in your community. See where you at? It ain't gonna get no better. It ain't gonna get no better. Okay, that's what you get for being a clown, bruh. I don't know what you was smoking. I don't know what you do. I don't know what drugs you do. But whatever drugs you do, you need to stop doing them. It ain't for you. Some people can work and function on drugs and you can't. Some people can function on drugs and go hold a job and everything. I seen it. You're not that type of person. You fall apart when you get on drugs. But I can show you somebody can do the same drug and hold a job down. That's how we know you can't handle it. You know how we know you can't handle it? Because your vices leads you to poverty. Your vices leads you to be a bum. Okay? While other people can get drunk on the weekend, get high on the weekend, and go to work and make money to get more drugs. They do the same thing, they just work for it. We got functioning drug addicts. But they ain't gonna fall all the way off when they ain't working. That's how you know it's not for you. You think I'm being funny, okay? If you a bum and you using witchcraft and you high and drunk and playing around people, your vices, a psychologist is gonna tell you your vices is what's influencing you to be like that. To think you evil, to think whatever you think, or you like to be evil. All your vices is influencing that. Your drugs, your weed, all that stuff. And then somebody like me sobers you up. Oh, I'm sobering you up, buddy. Because this time, God is on the job. God is on the job, buddy. That Lady Gaga time is over. Rest in peace, R.I.P. And that's no disrespect to her. I'm just saying that time is over. Even if she do music, it's the vibe of the world is over, man. How it used to be. And the reason why I used her is because that's the last good time of the world. As far as peace and just this nice feeling in the air, that time is gone, bro. It's absolutely gone. It's gone. We can't get it back. This is why, man, you can't. It's more than one person to blame. It's these people that create all this music, this rap music. It's them too. Because you created this crazy mentality where people out here killing and gangbanging and all of that. That took away the good in the world too. It ain't just one people. It's a whole group effort. It's a whole effort of a whole country. Thugging and all that, thugging and gangbanging and all of that, man. That just messed up the whole black community, man. It's an elephant in the room, bro. It's no way you can't talk about it. How can you not talk about that? It changed everything. We'll never be able to make these kids think like no more. That's over, man. They gone. They mind gone. That's facts. And they ain't showing all the killings like they used to. Because they hiding it because I think it's manipulation. Just like with white people, how they manipulate it. Black people gonna manipulate when you ain't gonna see all the killings in the news. You gotta go, and how I know this for sure is because one time I Googled child killings in August or a month and a year. When you do that, you're gonna see all the killings come up. You're gonna be like, oh, I didn't hear about that. All you gotta do is Google child killing shootings, January, February 2026. You're gonna see all these killings. You're gonna say, why I ain't hear about that? Why I didn't hear about this? Because I do believe there's manipulation. I do believe that. You're gonna hear it on local news, but on the national news, it's gonna be manipulation, man. Because they don't want to put a stigma. They don't want black people stigmatized with the truth. Or they don't want people to be they don't want black people to be stigmatized with the truth because of the truth. So they begin, if you want to know about all the killing, if you just waiting for it, you ain't gonna see it in the news. I realize this. You gotta go look You gotta go Google child killings, black on black shooting and crimes, February 2026, January 2026. You can't expect the CNN to give it to you. They can't, and also they can't give you every killing in every city. They can't tell you that. They ain't got enough time. They ain't got enough time on the news to tell you every single killing in the country, in the hood. Think about it. So all you're gonna hear about is local killings of children. Now, you want to do a national search, you have to put that in Google, and all the killers of children gonna come up. The only thing we gonna hear about is the crazy stuff. Like them two little girls put in the suitcase in Cleveland. Crazy stuff like that. That woman killed her 2 children. That's what I'm saying. It's a cold time, bro. A cold time. She put them in a suitcase. Okay, look at the darkness of that. This is a black woman. That's what I want you to think about. When you know black people we ain't never been like that. Where we put kids in a suitcase and bury them in a suitcase, bro. Kids. Some people ain't even built to do a grown man like that, let alone a child. Man, look at that. And that person can live with that. That's what I'm saying. That person can strive and go around and live with that. And then the thing is, this is what I always trip off of. At any time, don't you know you can go give your kids over and give up rights as a parent? They'll do that instead of you abandoning your child or killing your child. You could take your 2 children and don't look back. You could take them and put them up for adoption. I'm pretty sure you can do that. I don't think you have to have a reason. You could say, I'm just not safe for my children. If you say that, they gonna take them away. I'm telling you right now. If you go on record to say, I'm not safe for my children, why can't you just do that? Why can't you just go to a hospital and say, I don't want no medicine, I'm not sick, I just am not good for my children, right? You think they ain't gonna take your children? They go, of course they are. This is what I'm tripping off of. People hold on to children and know you falling apart. If you falling apart, just give your children away. And people will have more respect for you. If you keep it 100, I couldn't handle my children. People will have more mercy than you killing the children or abandoning the children. People will have more mercy and say, you know what? At least you kept them out of harm's way. At least you put them in a system where they could find some good parents or whatever. Instead of doing what you did. I mean, that's what I would do. I would call the police and say, hey man, you gotta come get my children. It might sound crazy, but you gotta come get my children. I can't deal with them no more. Because of how things are with children, they listen, they have to comply to that. They have to comply. They have to. If they don't, and then they leave them there, and you called them to tell you told them that you couldn't comply, you couldn't handle your kids no more, and then you do something after that, they gonna tear up the police department. They gonna say the police should have taken the children when the woman asked for her children to be taken, right? But y'all didn't take them. See what I'm saying? So this is how you know they will take your children. They have to. People hold on to children and they don't have good mental health, or they don't care about the children no more. They hold on to children because that's what society tells them they're supposed to do. And then you wind up still falling apart. It's just, if you have to know when it's over. At least for now. Maybe later you can have a relationship with your children. But right now, I don't care if you got five children. You put them all you call the police to take all your children away, buddy. That's what we need to start telling people. Just give them to the system. Just give them up. Just give them up. That's all you got to do. Ain't no way they gonna turn you and make. Now some jerk who might try to make you explain. Listen, I shouldn't even have to explain. That's how they should train the police. If I tell you to take my children, I don't want them no more. I don't have to explain nothing. That's enough information. But you'll get a jerk. Well, man, we can't just take your kids. Can't you hear a police saying that? Well, we can't just take your kids. We can't just take them somewhere. We can't. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can. See, that's how it's supposed to be, bro. That's how it's supposed to be. Because the police is the first thing can come. That's why. They the first people that can respond to that kind of stuff. They supposed to take the children as soon as you call. See, this is why we know the police is necessary for something. I'm a grown man. I don't act like children. The police, we don't need them for nothing. We need them to serve the community. That's it. Stay in their own lane and serve the community. First thing you do, you call the police and you tell them, hey, I can't take these. I can't take. The operator might think it sounds strange, but they have to comply. They can't be a retarded person asking you why. Okay, come get the kids. Okay, we'll be there, ma'am. And once it's done, it's done. You sign off your parental rights right there. Not running the back later after midnight. I want my kids back. No. They come with paperwork. Come up there with paperwork. Simple paperwork. You signing off on all these kids. Each name, you put each name on there. You sign off on each one. You got 5 kids. You do 5 pieces of paper where you put their full name, their social, everything. You sign off on it. And that's that. No going back. Once you sign off on it, you can't come get these kids back. That's what you tell them. I'm coming out here with this paperwork. You put their name, their full name. You put their social security on there. You put where they were born, just all that stuff. And their age and all of that. Well, that's gonna be the date of birth. You put all that on there, and you sign off on these kids. And listen, buddy, it's over. We ain't gonna play no games with you. Cause the fact that you called us for that, that's already a red flag anyway. That's already a red flag enough for us anyway. I'm glad you did the right thing. You ain't do nothing to these kids. You sign off. That's the responsible thing to do. You sign off on them, and we gonna take care of them. We gonna make sure they have a life. See, that's what people see. That culture needs to be explained. Instead of these people out here trying to hold on to their kids because society telling them that's what they gotta do. Some people too sick to have kids. They too sick. They too sick, man. And then what you gonna do? Just let them stay there, and they sick? They can't handle it. Okay? You. Some people think they kids demon seeds and kill. Some people kill their kids because they thought their kids was evil. I'm not saying kids ain't capable of being evil. I'm not saying that. But a demon seed and all of this stuff, I done heard stories like that. When people do that, just hand them over to the state. That's it. Now these people using their children in gang stalking, listen, that's a whole, you made your children evil. And that's the facts. We don't sympathize with that. You made your kids evil, buddy. And you could think, I don't care what you think you serving them, what they supposed to be doing. Listen, buddy, you made your kids evil, and there ain't no other way to look at it. We ain't talking about your kids. I ain't talking about your kids if you use them in gang stalking and all of that. I am not referring to your kids. You use your kids as evil tools of evil. Evil tools against people. Evil tools for evil. And you think ain't nothing gonna happen to your community. Listen, I'm surprised that somebody that claims to be so spiritual like you would think nothing can happen. I'm so surprised. Because the more spiritual I become, the more I am aware of karma. Everything has to come back, bro. Everything. Every single thing, buddy. And I don't know with that being said, I don't know what you was thinking. because all that stuff got to come. I knew better. I knew it was gonna come back. There's no way around it. There's no way around it, and I can't save you. I'm not your savior. You gotta account to God for yourself. What you do is between you and God. That's absolutely right, and that does not work in your favor if you out here playing games with the community. That does not. That understanding, that principle does not work in your favor. Listen. You don't answer to me. You answer to God. That's right, and it don't work in your favor. It's not working in your favor as Americans. No, it's not. So yeah, listen, I don't got no heaven or hell to put you in. I'm a human being as you see, just like anybody else. But you can't play with me. You can't play with other people and think ain't nothing gonna happen to you. That's what it is. This time has changed. Now it's changed again, where now the war in Iran, listen, man. For people that's talking like it's nothing, I'm gonna tell you what type of person you are. You're a person that can see the sky falling, and you will say, oh, it's still some kind of hope. You the type of person that keeps hope alive, like it's something you can you do it to a fault, to an extreme, like you can beat reality with hope. You can't beat reality with hope, man. It's a whole different ball game. You can't beat reality with hope. Reality is gonna beat your hope. Reality is gonna defeat your hope, bro. Yes, it is. Listen, reality is y'all came out here gang stalking and playing in the field and playing with people, and your hope for a better future is going to be defeated with reality. Okay? This is why I kept telling people, you overlooked my voice. You didn't take it seriously. I told people a long time ago, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to stop doing what you're doing. What else? How can you think I'm a villain? Or I'm trying to fight you? Per se. And I'm telling you, y'all need to chill in so many words. They think like kids, man. That's what I'm saying. And y'all don't want to admit it. They think like kids, bro. That's what it is. That's all it is, bro. That's all it is, man. Even me, I've been said, you can go look up my videos. I've been said this stuff needs to stop. I've been told them what's going to happen. What you think I'm trying to say then? Well, you so smart. What you think I'm trying to say? You need to stop. Okay? You took it as a challenge. That was stupid. Why you gonna take that as a challenge? That's what I'm saying, man. Like, and then we all, and here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. We all have to suffer for this, man. All of us. We all do. We all gotta suffer, man. You don't see it? Everybody suffers but you. Everybody's holding back suffering but you. I'm going through it. I done been through it. You can't tell me I haven't suffered. I'm strong enough to survive. Just because I'm not bothered. That's what you're mad about. I'm not bothered by what I suffer. I'm not bothered by it, right? That's what's got you messed up. We all have went through stuff because of you. Look at it, man. Everybody suffered but you. I got HIV. How you telling me I ain't suffering? You act like I'm some entitled kid with a silver spoon, and I don't see how you see it that way. I don't see how. I ain't had no fighting chance financially. Where the silver spoon at then? Where's the silver spoon? Where? My mom can't even send me a cash app. My mom can't even send me no money. They couldn't even send me no money for Christmas. When everybody sent out money, my mom and them couldn't even do it. Okay, so then where's the silver spoon, suckers? When was there ever a silver spoon? That's what I'm saying. People are clowns, bro. My dad can send little cash apps because I'm asking for $20 here, $20 there. But if you notice, I can ask him for $10, $20 and he don't got it. He got to wait till the next paycheck. He ain't got a whole bunch of money in the bank where every single time I ask him for a transaction, he can send it every single time. My dad would say, yo, I got to get back with you. Yo, I'll holler at you. I'll get back with you. He does what he can, and I respect him. I respect him. But what I'm trying to show you is there is no silver spoon. Okay? Because see, you might get it twisted, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's not that hard to be brought up in poverty. It's not that hard to be from the hood, in other words. It's not hard. All you gotta do is have poverty, and bam, there you are in the hood. There you are with a ghetto story. Everybody want to have that ghetto story so bad, it's not even funny no more. It's like, it disgusts me, because it's fake. It's not authentic. You want to have a ghetto story for all the wrong reasons. For all the wrong reasons. You want a ghetto story. You want to be from the hood for all the wrong reasons. That's corny, bro. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I talk in terms of the hood, you notice I'm always talking about the principles. I'm always talking about the good stuff. Wisdom, street wisdom. That's the main thing I be harping on. Ratchet ignorance and all of that. Nah, I'm talking about street wisdom. I'm talking about street intuition. Stuff that you take when you leave the hood, that you apply to business and you apply to your life. You apply to every area of your life if you know what you're doing. That's why I don't even call me OG, thug, gangsters, all that. I done got to the age where now people call me OG. I'm at that age now. That's what I'm saying. You don't realize how old I am. I'm at that age now where dudes call me OG. When you see dude calling you OG, it's time to wake up. You getting old. They can look you up and call you. Why you think they calling you OG? Because you done something in the street? No, because you getting old. That's why. It's a term for in present day when you an older guy. You an old head. Instead of saying old head, they gonna call you OG. If they got respect for you, But I understand that, but I don't prefer none of them terms. I don't. I prefer yes sir, no sir, if you want to be respectful. And you ain't gotta say that, but if you want to be respectful, yes sir, no sir. That's it. That's all. Other than that, I don't want to be called a gangster, OG, nothing. That's how you know where my head is at, man. Look, how can you say somebody fake and they say that? People dying for those terms. Some people right in New York dying for the streets to call them a thug. They want people to call them a gangster. They dying for that till they get that validation. They might not articulate it like me because they might not be smart enough to articulate it like me. But they dying for that validation as a thug or a gangster. That's all they live for. To be validated as a gangster. Am I right or wrong? Oh yeah. And you see somebody that's not looking for that, how can I be fake? That makes me more dangerous, more over and over again, because you realize, oh man, this dude is not trying to be no validated as no street dude. No, I'm too old. I have evolved past that. I'm evolved. I want to be validated as a soldier, but not necessarily by the streets. I respect, I submit to God. I want God to shine his love on me. That's why no matter what I go through, man, I stick with God. It's just like, I can't, like this situation I'm in right now, I can't be disrespected no more, bro. And this is the reason why, man, I I already told people on these videos, as you know, that I done put in enough time for me to be able to go back down south. When I said that, I didn't even consider that I would have a place to stay. I'm considering just getting up on my feet wherever I go. Eventually. But I done put in my work to where this country is done. They in the wrong direction. They going the wrong way. Like on the street, somebody driving down the wrong way. America's driving down the wrong road, on the wrong side of the street. Burn cars, burn, 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 burn. They driving down the wrong road, on the wrong side of the road. Burn, burn. Remember the movies from the 90s? The cars go burr, burr. Burr, burr. Hey man, they driving down the wrong road on the wrong side of the street. That's worse, ain't it? That could be an album, can't it? Driving down the wrong road on the wrong side of the street. If it can't get no worse, it's the wrong road already on the wrong side of the street. Pride is destruction. The Bible says pride goes before destruction. Prideful people get destroyed, bro. If I was prideful, you know how many times I would be in jail? I would be in jail right now. You can't use pride to lead you. I don't care how bad you think you are. All it's gonna do is lead you to jail. You know how many dudes like that? Oh, man, listen, it's corny to me at this point. The strength is staying out of jail. Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of jail. I give God praise, bro. I ain't been locked up in going on 4 years. I ain't been arrested in almost 4 years. For me, that's great. This year will be 4 years. I ain't been arrested in 3 years. This is the see, if I was fake, I wouldn't care about that. In fact, I would be bragging about the last time I got arrested. That's what petty people do. I'm not bragging about it. I'm glad that I haven't been locked up in over 3 years. Going on 4 years. That's great. And that's what people gonna look at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we see this man does carry weapons. And at the end of the day, we see this man has not been locked up in 3 years. Okay, that's good. That means if he get an apartment, he ain't gonna be doing no crimes. He ain't gonna be out here buck wild with no weapons and all hanging out his pants. If he got them, he know when to carry them, like the rest of everybody else. And I do. At one point, I was just out here all the time with it, bro. I was out here all the time with my weapons, not slipping at all. Not slipping at all, bro. I mean, that's how I got arrested. You know, you're carrying it all the time. That's how it's gonna happen. That's how it's gonna happen. That's why now I use discretion. I don't take no weapons out like late at night and stuff like that. Cause see, I'm part Latino, and I do. Cops have looked at me and said I don't even look. What race are you? Now I could have been offended. This is NYPD. She asked me, what nationality are you? This is a cop. I ain't saying nothing about me. Did this person ask me what I am? That's how people see me other than black people. They can tell, bro. And you've been, I'm gonna tell you what got you. This is what got most black people. You looked at my complexion. I'm golden brown, right? If I was high yellow, then you would think I was mixed. That's what it is. Most black people don't think you got something in your blood unless you high yellow. That go all the way down to the south. Down there too, everywhere. Now if you high yellow, they gonna think you got some blood, something else in your blood. But white people look in the eyes like you're supposed to. If you look in the eyes, you can tell somebody's not totally African. And if I was, I was. If I would be, I would be. But I done had NYPD look in my eyes and say, what nationality are you? I could have got offended. Like, I'm obviously a black man. They knew better, bro. Police look at people 1,000,000 times a day. NYPD done seen 1,000,000 faces. This was a woman, NYPD woman police officer. She just asked me that. It wasn't that it mattered for my case, for why she was approaching me. She said, what nationality are you? I said, at the time, I thought we was Native American. So she was like, she's like, you got really nice eyes. Like that. That's the cops. That's NYPD. Some people can't see you for who you are, bro. And I'm sure of that. But I've lived through life many places where it's not everybody don't see it the same way. So I just got misunderstood, you know what I'm saying, big time. But but white people have come to me and said, another person in New York, this woman said, what race are you? This is another person, this ain't a cop. And once again, at that time before I did my DNA, I didn't know I was South American and Latino. I didn't know I was Latino. She said, it's all in the eyes. I could have got offended. I could have said, don't I look black? People see other things, bro. And see, that's why people that's black label me all these other strange things, but white people see me exactly how I am. Now, ain't that strange? Ain't that strange? They can see me, but black people can't. I've had white people say this to me, and I wasn't talking about nothing about how I look, and I'm a dude. That's something along with female might be talking about. I'm not gonna be too quick to talk about how I look and based on who I am and how I look. You know what I'm saying? Not too quick. But people misjudge it. They don't really realize who you are. You know what I'm saying? That goes for white people too. Other bitter white people, these witchcraft people. I got people here in New York who always seen me for who I was. You know what I'm saying? And you just didn't know no better. You couldn't see me. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. And then I met New Yorkers that could. Police too. Oh, you don't look black. No, you don't. Basically, that's what they saying. And New York are gonna see you. If New York can't see you, who can? That's how I know. This city can see you, but not everybody. But it's powerful enough to see you. Cause I've had random strangers in New York say, "What nationality are you?" Like, don't I look black? Not to them. And then when I went and did my DNA and I found out I was Latino, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So my point is, with the cops even realize, looking at me and don't think I'm totally black, if I go, I could get targeted by ICE. I have to start considering that. Because people look at me and they don't see that they can see I'm not totally one race, right? I could get targeted by ICE. So I can't carry weapons is my point. because they'll see me like a Latino and think, oh, yo, come over here. I have to look out for stuff like that. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Especially when cops done already told you, ask you what nationality you are. Like as if to say, you don't look black. Then I have to be careful. I got to take precaution too. That's why, and that's what's been on my mind. If I go out there at nighttime, ICE, I'm conscious of ICE. God ain't raised no fool, buddy. They already told me in so many ways I don't look black. One night I could have a mask on and everything, and they still might feel, look at my complexion around my eyes and might feel like they want to know if I'm a legal citizen. Then they gonna search me and everything. They gonna find my weapon. So my point is, I don't carry weapons all the time like I used to. I can't afford it. The missions that I've done so far, I couldn't afford to blow it. I had to go out here slipping. Just and trust God, man. I don't never like slipping. I like to keep weapons on me at all times, and I can show you reasons why. People tripping in public, people acting stupid in public, and all of that. I carry it all for the right reason. All for the right reason. I'm too old to do it because I'm bad. Because I think I'm bad. Come on, man. I'm 44 years old, bro. That's corny. I ain't carrying no weapons because I think I'm bad. If I'm going to carry weapons because I think I'm bad, I'm going to get the biggest gun. I'm going to get a Draco. I'm going to walk around with a Draco, bro. That's walking around with a weapon because you think you're bad. Blades or anything like that. That's for your protection. Ain't nobody gonna think you bad because you got a blade. I mean, I don't know. But on principle, they gonna respect you on principle. They might think you tough based on principle, but not based on your weapon. Even though it'll kill somebody, they go, ain't nobody really gonna give it to you. A machete. I had a machete. They might think I'm pretty bad for carrying a machete. I used to have a machete here in New York, so. But, I can't even carry weapons like I used to because of that. Because I had to get these missions done. I done sent money to Vietnam. That's where we at right now. I done sent money out there. It's popping, bro. That money just left this afternoon to Vietnam. And Trump and them can't stop that. Now watch. If you see anything going on funny with Vietnam or them talking about Cambodia and Vietnam, you know this is against me. Because I think they following my offerings around, the offerings I'm giving around the world. I think they've been fighting against it. I'm just saying, I ain't saying it's facts all the way, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, man. Everywhere I've been giving offerings internationally, the Americans show up doing all kind of stuff. Like, for example, Colombia. When I sent money to Colombia, then all the boat stuff happened after that. They started blowing up boats right after that. Then I sent money to Lebanon. Then all of a sudden, they went over there against Iran. I sent $4 million. They ain't telling you what I'm doing, man. This is why God is angry, man. I'm making $4 million transactions. Can you imagine anybody in this building standing in my lane, bruh? You ain't never made $1 million transaction in your life. Where you sent out some money that equated to $1 million or better. Where you put $1 million in somebody else's hand. Either way it went, for whatever reason. You ain't never done that, have you? Then how are me and you the same? No, I'm gonna keep it real. Now I'm one of them people that talk about that separate myself based on transactions. It's real though. It's real. I see why. Because man, listen, man. If you ain't doing nothing with money, and you a grown man, what went wrong in your life? You are a competent man. How can you not somehow find your way to get your hands on some money? And you supposed to be real. You supposed to be tough. Well, how come you can't get money if you tough? That's real. You so tough, why you can't get no money? And you know who's gonna think this first? You know who's gonna You know who's gonna think about that first? A woman. A woman gonna size you up and say, well, if you so tough, why you can't go get no money? That ain't gonna look right to a woman. You so tough, but you can't get no money. Now you see what I'm saying? A woman gonna think that first. A man gonna just respect your principles, but a woman gonna think about strength when it comes to a man, right? So then, in the context of you being bad to a woman, she gonna think about, well, how come you can't? If you so tough, why you can't get no money? Why you can't get no money? Why you ain't doing nothing with money if you so tough? Keep it real with yourself, bro. That's what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. If you so bad, you should be able to get some money. That's how I see it. You tell me what else. You tell me what else you're supposed to be doing with it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the criminal gonna say. The criminal gonna challenge that too. If you so bad, why you ain't getting no money? Not why you ain't killing nobody. If you so bad, why you ain't getting money? That part. You so tough, why you ain't out here getting money like us? Because you can't stand up in the competition. You gonna get, listen, among lions, you gonna get devoured. You come out here among lions, you ain't gonna make it. So you just acting bad to your family and to Bart, like Bart Simpson, where you bad to the neighborhood and the family. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, bro, but you can't come out here. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference, man. Because that's the first thing people gonna challenge when you get my age. Okay, you so bad, why you ain't get no money? You should be strong arming out here. Everything. Robbing people, everything, getting bread. Robbing banks, if you can do that. You ever met a bank robber? I have. I met a bank robber before. Somebody who got enough juice to go up in the bank. I mean, it makes you wonder, man. Everybody's so tough, but they ain't got no money. Make it make sense, bro. You tough, but with no money? I'm making transactions in this room. I made $1 million transactions. I'm telling you, I ain't lying. I don't lie. I made my first $1 million transaction in Brooklyn, right here. And you think I'm gonna let people push up on me? It's called self-respect, man. I know everybody in this building has never made a transaction worth $1 million. I guarantee that. I know they haven't. I ain't even gotta think about it. I know they haven't, bro. And so am I being arrogant? Come on. You size up the land, bro. You size up people, I size up the land. I know half these people in Brooklyn, right now, all through these projects, ain't never made $1 million transaction a day in their life. You think I'm gonna let them try me? No. Because for whatever reason, whether it was my brains or whatever, I found a way, if it was God, and I believe it was the Lord, I found my way to making $1 million transactions. Glory to his name, for his work. This is how God's kingdom gets the praise. God's kingdom gets respect. Half these dudes playing in my face ain't never made $1 million transaction or $500,000 transaction. Not a day in their life. Okay? They haven't. I just sent $1 million to Vietnam. I sent $1 million to Vietnam, bro. Now, would you take competitors? Would you take some bum playing around your room? It's offensive to me, because I know that person has not done what I've done. I don't have to think about it. I know that. You're not making $1 million transaction. You think I'm playing, don't you? You think I'm lying, don't you? I'm making, even people out there, they haven't made $1 million transaction. These gang stalkers making with sound campaigns, messing around cars and ambulances and sounds out there. Police haven't made no $1 million transaction. You see where I'm at with mine? I hope you understand. Because I know you ain't made no $1 million transaction. You may have made tens of thousands. Tens of thousands. Like 12 days of Christmas, 10 times a thousand, tens of thousands. Police made 10,000 transactions, tens of thousand transactions, tens of tens of the thousands. You made tens of thousand transactions, bro. That's your magic number. That's your magic range, ain't it? Tens of thousands. That's it. Not even hundreds of thousands. Police making $10,000 transactions or better. $20, $90, $30,000, 40. You ain't doing over 100,000. In other words, nothing you do yourself winds up being with one transaction over $1 million. God made sure before the world ended, with all that you said about me, I've made $1 million transactions and better. What have you done? You can't even say nothing. You see how I moved up and elevated? That's what I'm saying. Now what would you say? You'll see eye to eye with people, especially when they arrogant. It ain't like they humble and poor, where you humble yourself down with them because you see their humanity and they humble. But a prideful person, I'm gonna bring you down. I'm gonna break you down. When you ain't made one transaction worth $1 million, you can't see me at all, buddy. You can't see me at all. I'm up there with the best now, buddy. I'm in the $1 million range. Because even billionaires don't deal with billions, they still wind up dealing with millions. And millionaires deal with thousands. Oh, you didn't realize that, did you? Well, how are you gonna be a millionaire dealing with millions? You'll be broke before you know it. So in all actuality, millionaires deal with thousands. Billionaires deal with millions. They don't deal with billions. A billionaire deal with millions. Well, if he deal with millions, let's say if he deal with billions, if you make a $50 million transaction, you finna be broke pretty soon if you doing stuff like that. You doing numbers like that. You can't do 50 millionaire, 100 millionaire, 100 millionaire. You do 10, 100 transactions. If you do 10, 100 million transactions, that's gonna be $1 billion. You can't even make 10 transactions. That's $100 million without it being $1 billion. So what you have to do if you got a good financial advisor? You can't live on billions, on hundreds of millions. You gotta live as a good billionaire gonna live on millions, single million transactions to tens of millions transactions. And a good one will be dealing with thousands. I'm still dealing with thousands, yeah. I don't care if I'm a billionaire. Shit. I'm still $1,000. Oh, how much is that? Oh, 1,000. Oh, okay, I can do that. See, people, you supposed to live beneath your status, your net worth. If you worth $1 million, you can't spend $1 million. Doy, you spend it one time, you broke. And you can find purchases worth $1 million. So obviously you gotta live below $1 million, right? Right. The more people get money, they stop caring. But you always gotta live beneath your means, if you will. You can't live like a millionaire and you got billions and you got millions of dollars. You gotta live spending thousands of dollars. If you got hundreds of millions, you gotta spend single millions, $5 million transaction, $2 million. You got hundreds of millions. That's how you should be spending. Not even tens of millions. Easily you could lose your money. If you worth hundreds of millions, you know how easy it is with tens of millions of a transaction for you to lose $200 million. It's not hard. 10 $10 million transactions. 10 $10 million transactions is gonna be $100 million. Only 10 transactions. You know how easy that is to do? Living that lifestyle. You gotta spend thousands. If you good, if you're rich, you should be just spending thousands of dollars, basically. Even hundreds. You discipline yourself and realize, okay, I want to live in the world of money. How I'm gonna do it? Okay, I'm rich. Now I'm gonna spend hundreds of dollars and thousands of dollars, like everybody really want to spend. I'm gonna basically live like how everybody want to live. I'm gonna be able to live that good, and that's about it. Which means stuff that's like worth $100 here, $100 there. Okay, I can do that. Like the average person, they really want to do it, they can't do it. I can get $100 pair of shoes here and there. I can spend $100 at the drop of a hat. That's how you're supposed to talk as a rich person. I can spend $100 at the drop of a hat. That should be your little cliche. I can spend $100 at the drop of a hat. You're tripping. You got millions. No, I can spend $100 at the drop of a hat. That should be your ongoing joke. Because soon as you start looking at them huge transactions, like I can do it, that's how you can say, yeah, you can do it technically. But that's when you're going to start losing all your money. So you have to discipline yourself and get used to a world where basically you're the same person, but on a common level, you can live very well. That's really how it's designed to go. Really, to be honest. And you can make big purchases here and there. Like Christmas. You can make it Christmas about 2 or 3 times a year. Let's put it like that. That's how it should be. For your birthday, for Christmas itself, for other people's birthday, for Valentine's Day, and a couple holidays here and there. Thanksgiving and all of that. New Year's Eve. But you're supposed to be just living on hundreds of dollars. If you live like that, you'll be happy, you'll be better. Because you know you really ain't touching that money. But you having fun. But you're having fun though. But you ain't really touching that money. If you got hundreds of millions and you only spending hundreds of dollars, that's nothing. You're gonna realize, well, yeah, I ain't really touching my money. But as soon as you start looking at everything, big purchases here, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You got to slow it down. Now, I would get land if it was me. I'd get a house if it was me. Because that's an investment. Now you done got the worst problem out the way. Land. Housing. No matter what happened, you good. That's how you safeguard yourself. You get you a nice place to live with some land, not some New York apartment penthouse stuff. You don't know how that's going to change in a million years. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't know how that's going to pass, how that's going to change in the next 20 years. The whole property might be torn down, then what? You can't hold up the property just because you bought it. What about the rest of the property, if that makes sense? Or let's say you ain't even bought it, but you're just kind of shelling out money at this place. But what if, for whatever reason, the next 10 years is gone? Instead of feeling this instability, why don't you just get a house and get it out the way? That's what I would do. I'm gonna get myself off the streets. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. That's the most important. Ain't nothing else more important to me. Jewelry? Are you kidding me? Jewelry? No, but no. I'm gonna get a house and guns. Registered guns, plenty of them. Dracos. I have 20 Dracos. The size of a little militia. Matter of fact, I get 100 Dracos. For the size of a 100-man army. Arm them all with Dracos. That's what you do. Oh, bring manpower over and that part. Got smoke? Hey. I got 100 Dracos. Matter of fact, I get about 500 Dracos. How about that? It's things that men could do. They could do it. All these rich rappers couldn't be me. Man, listen, I have 500 Dracos. I wouldn't care how nobody felt about it. Hey, yeah. It's registered, ain't it? That's all that matters. Well, we feel like, you know, you might get a knock on the door from the FBI. Well, we thought it was strange, that part, right? We thought it was strange that you got 500 Dracos. You starting a little army? Well, they gotta make a joke because you know you legal, right? That part. But this is kind of like an investigation interview. Oh, you could expect that. You start getting some real firepower, buddy. 500, 1,000 Dracos. That's what you're looking for. 1,000 Dracos. That's now we talking. You can do that so easy, ain't even funny. You ain't gonna spend 100 million. You ain't gonna spend 100 million. Why you can't do it then? I'm gonna go see how much that'll cost actually to arm yourself with 1,000, and they probably give you a pretty good deal. Since that company knows you're buying, if you go straight to the source, they'll cut you a deal. They gonna do it because they're getting money. That's why. That's a good businessman. Listen, I ain't gonna tax you on everything technically. If you're gonna buy that many, I'm gonna just cut you a good deal. That's what I'm gonna ask for. Come on, listen, buddy, I'm spending money with you. Come on, give me a good deal. What kind of deal you got? I'm gonna get 1,000. I'm gonna get 1,000 Dracos. So you finna get money regardless. You finna get money. A good businessman, you gonna cut me a good deal. You finna get money, bro. Get 1,000 Dracos. Now, you like a little militia, man. You listen, you do a red alert, man. You arm 1,500 people. You arm people. You arm people. They can't play with that, bro. They can't play with that. They don't want to see 1,000 Dracos, man. Nobody don't want to see that. See, that's how you know rappers are controlled. Why you can't do, if you're not a felon. Now, if you're a felon, that's why, I understand that. But if you ain't a felon, why you ain't got 1,000 Dracos? And you getting stuff that rappers get, gold and all this little corny stuff, man. Man, I'm getting as many guns as I possibly can. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give me some land and get guns. That's right. That's absolutely right, buddy. And be talking the same way. I'm gonna be the same dude. You know, I'm gonna be the same person. Playing no games. I get 1,000 Dracos. You think I'm playing? And ain't nobody you gonna be considered by the FBI as a little militia, and that's okay. That's okay, buddy. That's what they gonna do. That's facts. They gonna mark you as a little militia. You got 1,000 Dracos, bruh. That's manpower. Well, not manpower. That's gun power. That's power. You can rally people together and arm 1,000 men. That's what I'm talking about. You see where my head is at? I'm way ahead of everybody, bro. Man, listen, bro. If the Lord tarries and I get bread, I'm arming myself with thousands, with hundreds of guns, man, hundreds. We talking about the big war. We ain't talking about this bull crap that's been going on lately. We ain't talking about that. Times have changed. That's how you need to be thinking right now in 2026. If you ain't got no felonies, whether you a man or a woman, ain't no reason for you not to have no guns. That's my personal opinion. It's just no reason for it, bro. It's no reason for it. Why can't you get a registered gun? Oh, you think like old school, you gonna do it for something illegal. But then you still can have it for just legal. Right? Okay, you still, listen, you know what I'm saying, right? You still can do legal while you doing whatever else. That's your own prerogative. You know what I'm saying? But you can, You can do legal and get a lot of guns. It just don't. It makes black people doing it online, and I think it's beautiful. Because after all these years, we never armed ourselves like these white people did. They've always been more armed than us all day. They the one made the guns. Many white men companies have made guns. They made them from scratch. And you going and buying luxurious cars, man, listen. First thing I'm doing is building me an arsenal. Building me an arsenal, that's right. Letting people know it ain't no games. And maybe because that's the African Latino in me, in the Asian, I'm part Asian, Filipino. Asian, African, Filipino, and Latino. I'm not letting nobody have me unarmed. When you got arms, people have respect. If they know you armed to the teeth, they gonna respect you. And I guarantee you, they ain't gonna care if they like you or not. You gonna respect the gun. You gonna respect, make sure you don't get burnt out here playing around. If you doubt me, I grew up shooting guns. How you gonna doubt me, bro? I'm from North Carolina. It's for anybody from North Carolina gonna tell you, it ain't even uncommon for young guys to start shooting guns as a kid. And where I come from the country, it ain't abnormal. The whole house got guns. In my family's house, we always kept guns. And I knew where the guns was at. 9mm, little shotguns. That's why I'm like this too. I grew up around guns. In my house, it was guns in our house at all times. Why you think we lived in the suburbs? We had guns in the house the whole time, buddy. We had guns in the house the whole time. You figure that out. How you size that up? Bro, how you size that up? We had guns in the house the whole time. We came to the suburbs with guns. We came to the suburbs with guns, bro. We never was slipping. My family was never slipping. So I was in the house with guns in the house the whole time. Oh, it matters. It matters a lot for a fool that want to get his head blowed off. Somebody that would challenge you, you know what I mean? And it's going to give me the mentality to do the same. If you grew up around people with guns all the time, and it don't matter who it was, what you think I'm going to be thinking when I get up on my feet? The only reason you haven't seen me do it is because I have been severely unstable in my life. The first thing I'm going to do is get guns. And the other part of my life, when I was a less mature Christian, I probably would have been like these other Christians and I probably wouldn't have got no guns. Now, I am a fully mature Christian that believe in carrying arms. Yes, sir. Now, when I was a little younger, in my 20s, I just believed in, I didn't have the full maturity that I got now. I'm more powerful than I was in my 20s because now I believe in carrying arms. I believe in all of that. I'm mature enough to understand that. In my 20s, I just prayed and believed, just like many Christians, that I just rely on the Lord protecting me. And I still rely on that. But wisdom from God is to also be armed. You see that? So I not only pray and trust in God, I also use the wisdom of God. It's not one and the same. You might pray and pray for protection to God, but you don't use the wisdom of God. While I'm praying and truly trusting in not these weapons, but I'm trusting in God, but I use wisdom of God because God gonna have everything that makes sense. God gonna have part in it. God gonna have part in everything that makes sense. Even carrying weapons, that's the wisdom of God. Nothing that's good can be separated from God. So to arm yourself is the wisdom of God. And see, some people don't see it that way. So you can practice prayer and pray to God, but you don't practice wisdom. It's not one and the same, bruh. It's not one. I can show you somebody that pray and don't use wisdom. Not just with the guns. They don't use wisdom. But they pray. So, you know, you got to pray and use wisdom. See, I knew I could come to New York and do this and what I done. And how it worked out beautifully is everybody believed in what I'm doing. They see why. I can't even get up on my feet because of these people. These gay mafia people that think they the mob. Man, stop playing, bro. If you was the mob, war would have already happened. Let's keep it 100. Well, see, hey, don't refer to yourself as the mob if you don't move like the mob. If this was the mob, this would have been over. So I don't consider you the gay mafia. No, if you was the mafia, period, this would have been over. You would have had better principles if you was the mafia as well. You wouldn't be dirty and trifling, putting HIV in somebody's body on purpose and then calling yourself the mafia. Now that ain't how they move right there, buddy. Nah. That's dirty. That's a roach. That's how you lowered yourself. Whoever was a part of that, which was the Freemasons, definitely, and everybody else with them, listen, man, y'all roaches now. Or maybe before you wasn't, but after this, you is. You roaches now. You can't come back from that. You can't put HIV in somebody's body and come back from it. You're a roach. And so it ain't no need for me to be here in this building competing with roaches, which is part of the same community that put HIV in my body. And I'm putting up numbers, $1 million transaction, $1 million. I'm sending money to Vietnam, things I never dreamed that I would be doing. I'm sending money to Lebanon. I'm sending money to South America, to Colombia, where all the cocaine was. I went to the neighborhood, the community where all the cocaine was, the Medallion neighborhood, something that these lames wouldn't even know. The Medallion neighborhood is where all the cocaine came from in the 70s and the 80s in America. That's the community. I found a church in that community and sent millions of dollars to it. I made $1 million transaction. My first $1 million transaction was in Colombia, in the Medallion community where all the cocaine came from in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. That's where it all came from. I found a church in that community, with that tough community, because I wanted tough Christians, and I sent money to that community. I sent my first $1 million to them. And I got the California Mexicans in California. I'm sending money over there. I'm sending money to Germany. I sent money to Germany. Egypt. I just sent money to Egypt. It left yesterday. So I got money is going over there to Egypt. See, I found a way to still send money to the Middle East. That's what I'm saying. I still I can get this done either one way or another. But this strategy, man, I'm already sending money to Egypt. It just left last night. So it's on its way now, flying over to Egypt. It might be there already. What time is it? Yeah, it might be there. It's still good and early. I'm glad too. Yeah, I'm sending money to Egypt, Lebanon. I sent $16 million. That's what these devils were mad about. See, once when I sent that 16 million, that was a critical situation because they was already bombing over there. See, I'm glad I'm talking about this because with if you don't know what this is spiritual warfare. This is not just a church offering. This is spiritual warfare. I can prove it with scripture where God's people use the offering for only to defeat physical enemies. Not just this was an offering and then, but it somehow worked out to defeat physical enemies. No, I can, glory to God. I can show you where the offering was put completely reserved. In the Bible, there was a specific offering that was reserved for just defeating physical enemies. So why would God change the principle? If you still got the need to defeat physical enemies as times change in the world and you're not blind, okay, why would God change that principle? You still got the need, so why would the principle change? Come on, man, come on. You still got the need. Why would the principle change? To take care of the need, the solution. Why would the solution change if you still got the need? See, I knew I was doing the right thing, and all I had to do was go by faith, and then God revealed to me why and showed me how I really literally was doing the right thing. See, sometimes when you're high ranking, you're gonna do things and you're gonna have enough information to go off of, and your hunch gonna tell you you're doing the right thing, and then God gonna reveal to you the totality of what you're doing and prove it to you by scriptures. That's what he gonna do. See, long as I can prove it by scriptures, I ain't trying to listen to no preacher. I don't care what the preacher's saying. He can't come above this word. I can't come above that word. Can't nobody come above that word, buddy. I don't care who it is. I'm 44 years old. Listen, I'm not a baby. Not in Christ and not as a man. And nobody ain't coming above that word. You cannot like it. Listen. It's not something I'm worried about, whether you like this or not. Okay? As long as it's biblically sound, that's all I care about. And because I'm spiritual enough to know that principles ain't gonna change if you still need that solution. So why would it change? See, some people think about the Old Testament like it's all rolled up in a scroll and gone away. No, it's not. It's principles in the Old Testament that you can use right now. Right or wrong? Okay then. I think people misunderstand the tithe from the offering. And so you will think because the tithe is gone, the offering is gone. The offering is never gone. I'm not talking about the tithe. But you should honor God with what you have. That's what the servant of God is going to do. He or she is going to want to do God's work. Okay? You're going to find yourself doing it as you are a servant. See, the offering is really for the servant to do. It's the servant's duty. They want to do God's work. The servant wants to do God's work, whether it's warfare or I'm just giving because I want to help God's work. The soldier, the servant of God wants to give an offering to God's work. Okay? This don't stop. What you thought? I was beat? I don't fold, man. I don't fold. You ain't figured this out yet? I'm too old to fold, man. I'm too old to fold. I'm past them ages. You get up and live another day. That's what an old man do. I'm too old to fold. I know how this thing called life go. No matter if I'm here, no matter if I leave, I know how life go. And I'm going to come out on top either way. I'm going to make a chess move where you regret it. Because if I leave here, Brooklyn going to give it to these Freemasons. Brooklyn going to give it to these Illuminati members. Brooklyn going to give it to these butthurt black people. They going to get it, bro. They going to get it because now everybody see what you've been doing. They really seen it this time. They really seen what you did this time. Also, okay, You listen, this all is working into my favor, because soon as I leave New York, it's over for you, buddy. New York is done. Listen, you played too many games and everybody know, buddy. I can show you how they play games in Jamaica, Queens, and over here in Brooklyn. That's enough for us. And the last time I was here in New York, they looking at all of that too, buddy. Ain't nobody stupid. Ain't nobody one-track minded. And we remember everything. We remember all that happened on Astoria Boulevard. All the whole community of Hispanic and Latinos you used over there against me. I remember everything, buddy. And if I have to leave again, it's over for you. I'm telling you right now. God gonna get you, and America gonna get you. New York, that's right. They gonna get you. And that goes for these Freemasons, that goes for these Illuminati members, and everything in between like them, and any other witchcraft, little dumb community. They gonna take care of all of you. God gonna do it. This ain't no game, buddy. You dealing with somebody that's making $1 million transactions at one time. You out of league, man. Ain't none of these bums doing that. Call it how it is. You a bum. Okay? You talking about nobody is a bum. You are a bum based on your soul. Your soul is a bum. Your soul is low quality, which makes you a bum. There's a difference between a homeless person and a bum. A bum will get a sandwich from the bodega and eat half of it and throw it on the ground. A homeless person will eat half of the sandwich and save the other half for later. And go home and lay down and eat it when they lay down, wherever they live, wherever they sleeping on the streets. A bum will get a sandwich, take 3 bites off of it, and throw it down. That's the difference between a bum and a homeless person. Is they not grateful. They dirty, they wasteful people. Those are bums. That's the first that's gonna get exterminated. Bums. If you a bum, listen, it's your fault. It's your fault. Whether it's your mental health, that's not your fault, but more times than not, man, it's people that got vices and drugs and alcohol, and you a bum because of that. You can't even feed yourself properly. Okay, me and you not the same. I'm a homeless person, not a bum. A bum will eat half the sandwich, a piece of pizza, eat half of it, and throw the rest down. A homeless person will cut a big piece of pizza into 2 halves and eat one of it, half of it now, and eat the other half at another time. I can show you rich people that's bums. I can show you, so when I use the term bum, it's not in the terms of how DMX said. He said he would never call nobody a bum. That's degrading somebody because of poverty. That's the definition. You don't degrade nobody because of poverty. Like some people call me a bum because I ain't got no place to go, but I'm not. In my soul, I'm not a bum. A bum is a low quality person on choice. You choose to be a low quality person. But everybody gets stigmatized many times that's homeless as bums. You know, and I can show you somebody go through the streets that's cleaner than people that stand at home that got a shower and they ain't washed their butt in 3 days and they got a shower. Oh, it ain't white people like that, funky like that. Oh, it is, sitting around right now. Ain't took a shower in 3 days. You got a homeless person that go wash up in the restroom and they fresher technically than that person. Did you hear what I just said, bro? I can show you people that wash themselves on the streets, and I can show you rich people that's funky in they apartment or mansions and they ain't took a shower in 3 days. People that don't even like to take baths and showers and live in mansions and funky. And think it's cool that they can be funky like that. Who knows how they live? They might defecate in the floor. Who knows? Pee on the mattress. They know they ain't gotta do nothing. Think about it. When you living like that, you just pee on the mattress. So what? I buy another one. That type of person. Oh, I'll just clean it. I'll clean it. I'll flip it over and clean it later. Weird stuff, man. So it's not a matter of circumstance. It's a matter of your soul. If you're a bum, you're a bum based on your soul. You can be a trashy person. You don't care about nothing. You a bum, bro. That's why God can't give you nothing else. Because you're not a good steward over what you have now. That's how you get yourself promoted spiritually. You be a good steward over what you have until you go to the next level. I don't care what it is. And when you're a good steward over what you have, now you can go to the next level. God will promote you. But God ain't gonna promote you and you a bum. You know what I'm saying? You won't even cherish what you have. See, the difference between me and you played with me and played in my lane, bro. That's why I don't want to be here. They sent people right next door to play with me, and they already knew who I was. You did that to play a game. That ain't cause you needed to see. If you're not smart, you don't know what it was. That wasn't a need to know who I was. They knew who I was. If you can read people, I've been here 4 months. How you don't know who I am? 5 months. 5 months. I've been here 5 months. How you don't know who I am? A competent person gonna kind of get a rhythm of what kind of person you are. You see me in this room, only time you hear my voice really is if I'm making these videos like I'm doing now, and then I lay down for the remainder of the day or the night until I can upload more videos. Okay, other than that, you don't see me really come out the room. You don't really see me hanging out nowhere. You don't see me just lingering around. You don't see none of that. That kind of person, you play with that kind of person, God takes it personal. That's right. That's right, buddy. Cause I'm in here, right? Not out there. I can see if I just had a seat, in which I could do, I could just sit in the kitchen all day long. I mean, nobody could stop me from doing it. Technically, I'm not confined to this room. Technically. So I can sit out in the hallway. I could even sit on the steps out there. It might look a little strange, but if I'm on my phone, I could just sit out there on the stairs. I'm just showing you, I know I can move around, but I don't choose to do that because I already knew what this situation was. I already knew this was enemies. Once I knew this was enemies, why am I gonna come out there and act cordial and be out there playing around people? I'm not doing that. You the type of person that will play with people and then think we supposed to be friends later. You the type that play in a person's face and then think we supposed to be friends later. That's what I'm saying. Okay, nah, buddy, you ain't got no chump here. You don't play in my face and then we friends later. That's all it is to it. You treated me like I was a boy, a baby. Man, listen, my son is 19 years old. I can't stress that enough. My son is a teenager. I got a 19-year-old son. You think you gonna play with me? And my son is 19. I do stuff that these other guys haven't done, and I was saying that earlier. They ain't got no families. I took care of my son. I got a child in the world. I'm not gonna be played with. Like I'm a new jack. I'm a grown man, buddy. But see, this is how white people treat black people. That's how I look at it. They always treated us like boys. Until you realize, listen, I'm willing to die in my position. I don't care what you're talking about, buddy. You playing with a grown man, buddy, and you could listen. Listen. You'll be destroyed believing I'm a boy. Yeah, you'll be destroyed believing I'm a boy. You playing with a grown man, buddy. You better take another look. Better take a better look. You better look at your community. God ain't playing, buddy. You hear the whistling of the wind? That's God, buddy. You ain't look at it that way, did you? Oh, that's just wind. No, I can hear the difference. Oh, it's more than wind. That's God, buddy. Listen, man, I'm telling you. God manifests in me. He manifests his power in many different ways. I know my God when I hear him. When I went to send out my money to Vietnam, it rained at 12 o'clock on the dot. When I closed the door, I wish I could have recorded this. As soon as I closed the door, thundering came. That's like God saying, let my son get through. Move out my way. Move out his way. Let all these roaches move out the way. My son coming through. You think it's a game, bro? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. You go listen, your heart gonna break, buddy, in a million pieces when you realize this country is not going back to no normal. Your heart is gonna break in a million pieces when you see what's ahead, what's coming ahead. Your heart is gonna break in a million pieces. You're gonna see it ain't no way this coming back to normal. I told y'all, man. I tried to tell you. Playing with somebody from North Carolina, that's a perfect movie. That's the worst kind of spiritual people to try, somebody from the South. Perfect movie. Perfect credibility. Because ain't nobody gonna doubt my spirituality. Me coming from the South, that I can curse you, and I'm from the South, they gonna believe that wholeheartedly, bro. You can't play with no Southern Christians, no Southern people that use spirituality, man. Well, man, listen, I will curse you, and I don't care what no other Christian would tell you, because I know that at some point it was what was necessary. At the beginning, okay, I can forgive it, but if you are persistent, God is not gonna let me stay in the same position. Just loving you, and you playing games. It doesn't work like that in the real world. If you keep playing games with me, guess what, buddy? God is going to allow me to curse you. Now, in your American Christianity, you might not have the whole Christianity. You might not have the whole teachings of Christianity. I do. You know what I mean? I got principles that you don't have. And listen, hey, if you don't use them, hey, I do. I do use them. I do use them for people like that. If they play with me and they play in my lane consistently, I'm cursing you. And it's going all through. All of it going through. Every bit of it is going through. Every bit of it. I told you long time ago, man, to just get my money. Stop playing the game. I'm one of them people. You don't play with me for free, buddy. You don't play with me for free. And most women gonna look at it like, you separated this man from his son over the years. How long y'all been playing with him? Okay, you separated him from his son. They ain't having no mercy on that, buddy. Ain't no grown women having mercy. You know, listen, buddy, listen, sucker. That tells us everything we need to know. Okay, it's self-explanatory. His sexuality is proven right there. We're not retarded. His sexuality is proven right there. He got a son. So we know what he do. He likes women. Okay, we see that. Okay then. Okay, so we don't need to be doing nothing over there with you. Playing around this man. No, we don't. You know what I'm saying? I expect this of Americans. I expect them. They're arrogant. They think they know everything. They think they bad. All of that put together is what caused this problem. That's all it is. And this was inevitable. If it wouldn't have happened to me, it would have still been something that these Americans did to destroy this country. That's the punchline. It would have been. I don't know what. I can't tell you what it would have been. But with their mentality, they would have done something else on a big scale like this and destroyed our country. I can't tell you what it would be though. But I know with that same mentality, they wouldn't have made it. Either way it went. They too arrogant. They too corny. They play too many games with people. This would have happened either way it went, bro. That's why I don't take it too personal. Because your mentality, listen, this would have happened either way it went. See, countries like this don't realize in wisdom we can be defeated by our pride and arrogance. Any other countries like you made the same mistake. They were destroyed by their arrogance and their pride. And many of them persecuted Christians, like Egypt and Rome. Definitely Egypt. Arrogant people forget when they got a strong empire, this all can fall down with pride. And you're no exception to the rules, buddy. You listen, you went down the same road. Some of you pridefully, confidently, willingly, you went down the same road as Rome and Egypt because you wanted to be both of them. But you got the same demise and you got the same fate as Egypt. You played with God's people and now look at you. That's all it is. Nobody can do that and live. I tried to tell you. You can't say I'm a bad person because I warned you over and over again. I know what got you though. You thought that you could just kill people like you've been doing. This is just another person. People die all the time. This is probably how you rationalized it. People die all the time. I mean, it's sad, but hey, at the end of the day, this is just another guy. To us, people die all the time. But you know how they live all the time? You know how people live all the time? This might be a trick question for you. You know how people live all the time? They have power that backs them to live all the time. You know how your country live all the time? Because they had power to live all the time. You know how I'm living all the time? Because, listen, I got power for me to live all the time. And that's the difference between the weak and the powerful in the food chain of life. You mess around and play with the wrong person, and they got power to survive you, and then you lose. You had too many warnings. You knew who I was. You had too many warnings, and because I was so spiritual, you thought you would play a game. You played yourself, bro. Nobody feels sorry for you. That's exactly what happened. You knew it wasn't that you were trying to figure me out. That's Jedi mind tricking the stupid people out there. You already knew who I was. You knew enough. You knew enough. And that's what I'm talking about. And who cares if you needed to feel that you needed to know me? Who cares? I don't feel like I need to know you. I'm telling you, boy, you played with the wrong kingdom here, buddy. Ain't no help for you. Because when God is moved to compassion for his servants, he gonna crumble you. He gonna crumble you into a million pieces. And how it's gonna hit you, you're gonna see everything that you depended on as Americans gone before your very eyes. And you ain't even gonna wanna live. When you see it all gone, when you see it all go away, you're going to wish to die, bro. Because you're going to know in that very moment that it is no going back to the America you once knew. It ain't even started. You see it now a little bit. But enough to where we know, I know I can go back down south and wait for the rest. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here. I can use it as a chess move so Brooklyn will be sicked on you like a pit bull. Because they going to get you. For all the people in this building, listen, they going to get every last one of you. And I want them to. I want them to get you. Because listen, buddy, nobody don't live no clown game. Nobody don't live no clown game in this world we live in. This ain't no cartoon game. One of the most serious people you gonna meet is a Christian. They ain't gonna play no games with you. Too stupid to realize it. We the most serious people in life. How you gonna come playing around somebody like us and think we gonna just let it go? Clowns, bruh. Ain't no other way. We ain't having no mercy. No, sir. I ain't changing at all. Have I changed since whenever? I ain't never changed. Cause it's not a matter of emotional things. That's irrelevant stuff. That's how you sidestep a boy. All he talking about is getting along with each other. We ain't talking about no getting along. What that got to do with anything? That's a whole different situation. We talking about offense. We talking about offense, a severe offense, and you trying to get away with it by just us hanging out. Us being cool with each other. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. That's not justice. So that's justice for me. You see how narcissistic that sounds? How is that justice for my life? For me to get along with you. You see how narcissistic that sounds? Well, just getting along with us is making it right. It's not making it right. So see, after all, you're still narcissistic. Or narcissistic enough to think that me and you getting along makes it all good. It doesn't make it all good for me. It's only beneficial to you. I'm telling you, this is what happened to you. You in trouble with God, buddy. Hey, if you can't hear, listen, you need to get something to dig in your ear. You need something to dig in your ear to get all that wax out your ear, buddy. Because you're going to need to listen real good moving forward if you're serious about your life. Because when I leave here, they tearing this up, buddy. You understand me? And that means Haza, all that stuff, Haza is going to be from torn up to pieces. Haza, first of all, Haza delayed this on purpose to play with me. They put me in this situation. Okay, so we don't care about no organization. We going after people in organization. And how we gonna do it is all by spiritual means. We cursing them people. Sabrina Rice, all them people, we cursing all of them. Sabrina Rice gets cursed. I'm already fasting against her. I don't play no games, bro. I've been fasting against Haza for years. Soon as I knew the first time in the first apartment that it was a setup, I've been fasting against Haza for years. Now I'm fasting against Sabrina Rice. I guess I figured it out, didn't I? You ain't gonna play with no prophet, buddy. I'm cursing Haza, Sabrina Rice, all them people. Yeah, buddy. You thought I was playing, didn't you? I'm gonna get her for the rest of my life. I'm gonna drag Sabrina Rice to hell. She the main one. I'm dragging her to hell, buddy. Shouldn't have played with me. Shouldn't have played with me. Life ain't no game. Ain't no clown game. What in the world goofy people you been around? Times have changed. This is not the Lady Gaga time no more. You gotta tell the gay crowd this ain't Gaga time. Lady Gaga has now been diagnosed with psychosis. She is psychotic. She taking pills to be that don't register you. That don't register that the times have changed. Gaga has been diagnosed with psychosis. That's facts. She's taking the medicine. This time is over, buddy. If that don't resonate with you, that Gaga is on psychotic pills. You're not in the same little gay time with Lady Gaga and all that Gaga music. That time is gone, buddy. Officially, because she on psychotic pills, bro. And she credited to all the stuff she was doing in the music industry. She brought it back to all of that did that to her. All that people think she was having fun and she was so cool. All that was doing was destroying her mental health, basically. Because at the same time, she was vouching for gay people and lesbians. Now she lives with a man. She's not a lesbian. She's not bisexual anymore. She's not bisexual anymore. She's with a man. Times have changed. She ain't even got the same energy. She ain't got no bisexual energy no more. Oh, that ain't gonna be the difference. I'm not the smartest man in the world. But if you started out doing music as a bisexual, wild and free, single female, your vibration gonna be different when you make new music. Now that you engaged to a man and you don't deal with no women, you gonna have the vibration of a straight woman now. The vibe ain't gonna be the same. The energy ain't gonna be the same. See, people, the gay and lesbian community was getting off on that energy of hers because she was bisexual at the time. And if she can change her life and not be gay and considered bisexual, why can't a man do it? She's not bisexual no more. She's engaged to a man. Okay? She's been engaged for over a year. Okay, so she's not bisexual no more. So if a woman can move on, why and not be considered bisexual? She's considered heterosexual by sexual activity. By sexual activity, Gaga is not bisexual no more. Times have changed. Nicki Minaj used to vouch for gay people. She no longer does that. Time has changed. You gotta pay attention, man. Nothing stays the same. Nothing. Lady Gaga is not with the gay community. I mean, she probably vouching for him through her little Born This Way foundation and stuff like that. But by lifestyle, she does not live that way no more. She's not bisexual no more. And Nicki Minaj probably was bisexual when she first came out. I mean, you can kind of tell in the music. I put it like this. When most of those females, especially females, when they first come out, they're bisexual. They're all in the music industry having sex with everybody. Come on, let's keep it real. They're having big, crazy parties. They're making a lot of money. They're gonna do a lot of stuff. That's why I'm telling you, that time was the last final time of entertainment in the world and all of that. Okay? We don't care about no secret societies. Don't you see Nicki Minaj has even changed? Look, Gaga has changed. That's a wake-up call. Gaga ain't the same woman. She ain't gonna never be like that no more. Because she credited that to why her mental health is gone. So why she gonna be that person again? She ain't gonna never be like that. She's not. It's gone, buddy. That whole persona, that whole bisexual persona is gone. Her vibration is not, for spiritual people, to get it through their head, her vibration is not bisexual anymore. That's what made you get off on her. Her vibration was bisexual. It's no longer there. Nicki Minaj, she's not bisexual. She is in a relationship with a man. She married. Wake up. Them the main two that supported you. Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga. Now they do not live gay lifestyles or bisexual lifestyles. No more. Times have changed, man. That's what I'm trying to show you. Times have changed. And they still think about crazy stuff. You out there on your own, man. They ain't got nothing to do with me. They ain't got nothing to do with me, buddy. You are out there on your own playing with God's people, man, and ain't nobody sympathizing with that. Even Nicki Minaj, she done turned her back on gay people. So wake up. What happened? I'm gonna tell you what happened, man. People got tired of the ratchet stuff. They got tired of the ratchetness. As far as Nicki Minaj goes, I guarantee you, that's what it was. She got tired of ratchet people that play all the games that they play. And she, because you could tell how she was talking at the UN. She was talking like, oh yeah, she was talking like, oh, nobody should be persecuted. She was probably talking about me. Nobody should be played with around the world. She was on the Christian side, and she knew that they were not Christians. She knew these people was Luciferians and all kind of other satanic groups. That's why she had to distinguish and say it ain't about sides, and she talking about helping Christians. She talking about helping Christians, right? She talking about helping Christians. Why would she have to explain that to her fans if they wasn't satanic? Not all of them, but the gay ones. That's all in the satanic stuff, because you know you can't get power from God, so that's why you're gonna be satanic. Well, no, you can't work no spirituality with God. See, I try to explain this to people. The reason why the gay and the lesbian community is satanic, so they still can access the spiritual world. They can't access the spiritual world with God as a gay person. No. That's why you satanic. That's why. You can't access the spiritual world and ask God to do anything for you, and you a lesbian? No, it's not gonna work. So what you gonna do? You're gonna go into witchcraft. That's what you're gonna do, because that's the only way you can access blessings per se, or material gain and protection and all of that. You got to go on the witchcraft side, because you know God don't accept you being gay or a lesbian. Okay, that's why they're so big on witchcraft. If you don't know, because they can't. It ain't that it's a preference. It's because they can't access the spiritual world without being gay and lesbian. They can't activate. They can't activate nothing. They see us manifesting because we living right, and they jealous of it. God changing everything. God ain't playing no game. Okay? All that stuff you got to wear on top of your head. Oh, that's why, see, that's your curse. Because we know you throwing celebrity children at our heads, and all these celebrity images of children and things of their children throwing to our head. When you playing with children from their family, with Nicki Minaj's children, she figured it out. Somebody probably came to her and told her that you were using images of her child, the likeness, in the minds of other people with witchcraft, using witchcraft and wizardry as Americans. Using her children and all these other celebrities, using their children as imagery in the minds of the people to trigger people's mind, like we pedophiles. But using their children, somebody like a celebrity, because that person's face is so frequent in the media, that if I use their face, I can trigger over and over again with their children. See the point? Why they would use a celebrity's child over as opposed to just some random person, because that person gonna go away. But this famous person is gonna keep being put in our faces, and when they are, they're gonna use them as triggers with their children. So I'm glad as a spiritual person to see her turn her back on you, because I know what she might not know. You was using her children in psychological gang stalking. You was using Jay-Z, his children, in psychological gang stalking. Now it's all coming out because you're still reaping for it. You're still paying for it. You're paying for it because they done turned their back on you. I'm not saying Jay-Z necessarily, but Nicki Minaj done turned her back. I don't blame her. Maybe somebody told her what you was doing, because you deserve it. You ain't get away with it. All that little crazy cartoon stuff you've been doing, you ain't get away with none of that, buddy. Because she turned her back on gay people. That's how you know you got caught. See, I figured it out. Only gay people and lesbians will be this dirty to do something like this with the community. Straight people ain't gonna do it. Straight people ain't gonna gang stalk and play around somebody like that and a black man like that. Only somebody as filthy as gay people gonna do it. I figured it out. That's why they gotta use you. Because you the only one dirty enough in the country to be used this way. No pun intended. They can't protect you no more. Police can't do nothing about it. The Freemason police can't protect gay people. Sorry, buddy. God time is over. It's over. God time is over, buddy. It's over, buddy. God time is over, buddy. You gonna get death. You thought it would be a cute game to play with me, didn't you? You feel like it's a cute game now? I told you, buddy. Whatever you've been smoking, you need to stop smoking it. Ain't nobody having no mercy. It's way too late for that. That's why I don't really care about moving on, because I don't want to be around you no more. Because all you are is sick people now. All you are is sick. Sick, dirty, mad, butthurt, all of that. Bitter, salty, all of it. I don't want to be around you no more anyway. I'd rather be on the streets. That's okay, because it's going to end. Yeah, I'm still leaving as long as I'm here. If that makes sense. As long as I'm here and I ain't in my own apartment like I should be, and you stop playing games and insult my intelligence like I shouldn't have been in my apartment a long time ago. I shouldn't even have came to Brooklyn. I was in that place for 4 months. I should have been in an apartment before I left Jamaica. I came here and did another 5 months. I did 5 months over here. The same amount of time. You telling me they ain't being paid off by the Americans to keep me in this building, to play this psychological game in this neighborhood? That's all it is. That's all it is. You think I'm stupid? It's the whole neighborhood. It's not the just the building. It's the whole neighborhood. So you think I'm gonna stay here and sit here in this same neighborhood for a whole year? You tripping? You crazy? I ain't doing that. Once I seen you ain't get the apartment in time, like you said, this person told me around February and January. I said March, right? The person said something like, "Oh well, no, it'll be before March." Like just dismiss that easily. Here we are in March, in the middle, on the other half of March. Why the apartment ain't came? Because I don't voucher for gay people and lesbian. The day she gave me the paperwork was she gave me the paperwork during the time I was doing a video. The only reason, off the strength that I was talking like that we should have rights to protect gay people from violence, right? When I said that, then she came and knocking at my door, give me the paperwork. Because she ain't nothing but a mind reader that heard I said the right thing about concerning gay people. But then I started talking about child marriage again, and gay and lesbian marriage, and all, particularly gay and lesbian marriage, and that's why they ain't doing nothing now. I said the right thing, and then she talking about, like concerning what they feel, like protection for all humanity, right? Off the strength of that, then she gave me the paperwork. She told me it would be before March. Why hasn't happened? When I know they got vacant apartments, they do. Hasn't got vacant apartments, bro. You telling me they ain't got one? So why couldn't I pick the one that you got? Why shouldn't I be able to one to pick that? Why shouldn't I be the one to make that option, have that option, or to make that choice? You got one. They got vacant apartments. That's what I'm trying to show you, bro. I'm not stupid. Okay. The last time I got an apartment, it took 2 months, not even 3 full months. I moved to the Y around at the earliest February. I was in my apartment May 7th, right? March, April, May, not even 3 months. Even if I came at the end of February. Cause I was there at the other place before the Y. The Y is where I got my first apartment from Haza, right? I was at the other place in Brooklyn, this other shelter like motel, a place that was converted to a shelter, but it was a motel, right? I was there in February 2021, right? For Valentine's Day. After Valentine's Day, that still would have been March, April, May. That still would have been less than 3 months. If I got the apartment May 7th, right? February is Valentine's Day is February 14th. I was in the apartment before 3 months, which would have been May 14th. It took less than 3 months. How's it taking 9 months? I've been here 9 months. How's it taking 9 months? Because the Americans took advantage of me coming here and they tried to use it as a psychological war. They think I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. I used it right back and cursed your country. And now it's time to go. If I don't get an apartment, if you butt hurt, and listen, it's gonna be worse if I go to the streets because the community gonna be on you, Brooklyn gonna be on you, and that's for all Haza and so Sabrina Rice and all of them people. They gonna be on all of y'all. You gonna go through hell when I have to leave New York because you play the game, you comply with the game. You gonna go through a living hell. And then God gonna put New York through a living hell. Watch what I tell you. So if I was you, I'll be drunk. I would be tripping over myself to get that apartment, buddy. I'll be tripping over I don't care about nobody else because most of these people are bums and you was used by you in this building anyway. If I don't get my apartment, it's gonna be a living hell for you people called Americans. Okay, and that's that. Okay? You got it good. Times have changed. Times are changed. Okay? Times have changed. It is no more time for love when you play with God's kingdom. It's not. That's you being religious. It's not a time of love. Okay, if you was a real man, you would know. No, you can't. You just haven't seen it in your lifetime. You sized up Christians like they was nothing. You sized up Christians like nothing would happen if we play with these people. That's how you sized us up. That's a lie. Now you see that. It don't matter what you talking about, man. You can talk about John 3:16. I'm smart enough to know that. That ain't gonna apply to you in this situation. No, it's not. You playing with God's kingdom. Sodom and Gomorrah is gonna apply to you in this situation. You're gonna be judged like Sodom and Gomorrah. Why you talking about John 3:16? You on the verge of being judged like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what you're on the judgment. That's what you're on the verge of. You ain't on the verge of God saving you and helping you. You a gay and lesbian community. God is not helping you. That's what I'm saying. No, God don't work like that, buddy. He is not helping no gay and lesbian whole community. Okay, let's get it. I'm keeping it 100. Okay, so you don't need to tell me nothing about John 3:16 because that don't apply to you. And the reason why, as a community, because you play with God's kingdom. You don't have the luxury of playing with us and then talk about John 3:16, man. Stop playing. You should know better than that. Come on, man. Come on. You can't be that corny to think you can play with Christians, people you know for sure is Christians. Even besides me, you played with other Christians. Yes, you did. If you don't believe in me, what about all these other Christians complaining about being gangsta off by America? They all are not Christians. Come on, man. Stop playing, bro. You done gangsta off so many people, man. It's the end. Ain't no other way to look at it. You ain't coming out on top. You're not coming out on top in this time. You can't play with God's people and then think you're gonna come out on top. Okay, it's no way. Nobody don't care about you enough. You just another country of people. You just human beings. That's all. And if you made a mistake by playing with the community all over the country, it's no way in the world you're gonna survive that. It's no way in the world. God is on your head, buddy. You don't hear the howling of the wind. That's spiritual. And you too stupid to see it. That ain't normal. That's not normal. I'm spiritual. I know what normal is and what normal is not. That's not normal. That is not no normal wind, buddy. Okay? But these the same people that talking about they can read. You can't read the weather. You can't read the events that happen in the world. All you can do is read people. Let's talk about that. How you read people, all you can read is people. You can't read the weather. You can't read the events. You can't read the wars. You can't read nothing else. Oh, all that stuff can be read. That's 7 hours. All that stuff can be read. You can't read it though, can you? Can you tell me exactly what it means? Not what you think it means. Can you pinpoint what it actually means? You can't, can you? That's all I'm saying, bro. You don't know that times have changed to where now Christians have to defend themselves against the Americans. They had a secret war against us that they don't want nobody to know about. They have been fighting Christians here in America. Secretly. Okay, we know about it. I told the rest of the world. I told Egypt about it. I told South America you was doing it. I told the world that you was gang stalking Christians in America. I wrote them letters and told them. That's why everybody's energy has changed. You ain't gonna box me in and play with me, and I ain't gonna get with the rest of the world. I'm gonna leave you behind and get with the rest of the world, buddy. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. You ain't gonna box me in and play with me, buddy. Okay, you nothing to me. You nothing. You was never a challenge. Man, we making $1 million transactions. I just sent money to Vietnam. That's what we talking about. Glory to God. And I mean that. All credit goes to God. He made it possible. He makes it possible for it to even do something. I can't make it do nothing. It ain't nothing but money. But God makes it do something. Glory to his name. Hallelujah. Because it's just nothing without God. We are nothing without God. Okay? That $1 million transaction I just sent to Vietnam is on the way, buddy. That's the next thing that's gonna happen. Yes, sir. That's the next thing. I sent money to Egypt and Vietnam. Right? That's what's on the way. Yo, it ain't came yet. So you ain't seen it yet. You ain't seen what it's gonna do yet. It ain't got there yet. And ain't nothing, none of these wars is gonna stop it. Ain't no wars gonna pop up in Vietnam in the time frame that money's finna hit the Vietnam. Sorry, buddy. Ain't no wars gonna pop up in Egypt in the time frame that money finna go to Egypt. It's already there. All I had to do is get that $16 million transaction to Lebanon, and Israel tried their best to bomb up Lebanon, probably so that offering don't get so that offering won't get to its destination. Oh, you don't think it's that serious? This is a spiritual war, buddy. They might have had another operation and took full advantage from Hezbollah and say they bombed them first, but still I'm smart enough to know that you still bombed it with another intention. You took advantage of them and you bombed it for another intention. You could have bombed it to mess up possibly the lives of the people that I gave the money to, or stop the mail from getting there in the first place. But that's okay. I know it got there. It got there in the nick of time. I did it and I sent the $4 million transaction to Lebanon before that anyway. And that's why all that stuff started to happen. I sent them a transaction, $4 million to the Middle East before they even had the ships over there waiting to do what they was going to do to Iran. I already sent $4 million before that happened. Did you hear what I said? I already sent $4 million a month before that happened. $4 million before it happened. This is all going our way. Glory to Yahweh. I said 16 million. I said 16 million before. After that, God ain't playing, bro. God, I'm humble towards God. I don't listen. I stay humble towards God, buddy. People retarded, bro. Playing with God's kingdom, think it's a game. It's not no game, bro. And I ain't got nothing to say. I'm on my way out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be played with. See, that's God's kingdom is too powerful for us to be playing with amateurs. They're amateurs. In spiritual warfare, they're amateurs. They are. I don't care about that little spiritual acrobats, the psychological acrobats that they're doing, jumping around, flipping around, all the psychological acrobats. Like Tommy Davidson, the comedian, said, this psychological karate. We don't care about no psychological karate, man. All that psychological karate, we don't care nothing about it, sucker. Tommy Davidson, he the first one. I was like, as soon as he heard that, man, I never forgot it. All that psychological karate. You thought it was me, it's you. We don't care nothing about that, man. This is spiritual warfare, bruh. This ain't no game. We don't care nothing about no psychological karate with all that stuff you're doing.